Hello.
Hello, how come I can't see you guys?
Because I have something up that's blocking it. Hold on.
That's weird. I mean, like, I'm not even seeing you in the bottom pane down here. I've been spending like the last 20 minutes trying to fix my freaking video issue, and I don't know what's going on.
Huh.
I look all kind of magenta weirdish. I think this computer is just slowly dying.
Oh, well, this is crazy. I put up the Gatekeepers banner. Oh, there
Yep.
it is. Okay, there we are.
Yeah, this weird color that you see here, I don't get it at all.
Huh. I wonder, are you sure it's your computer?
Well, I tried 3 different browsers.
Huh. That's odd.
Yeah. If I had more time, I'd troubleshoot it more, but I don't.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's just me and you and nobody hanging out, as far as I can tell.
I'm gonna go grab something to drink real quickly. I know we're talking about wizards, but I don't know we're talking. I don't know what about wizards we're talking about.
Me either. But I'm sure we can probably get some conversation going.
What wizard cast a spell on me to cause this damn color problem? I'll be right back. Yeah.
Well, while Max is getting a drink, and hopefully Bruce will be joining us very soon. Today's live stream on Gatekeepers is going to be about wizards. We have no plan. We only have a subject. So on the Biggest Geekest podcast, which we do, me and my friend Randy, we do that weekly, and we released an episode last week that was all about wizards. So you should check it out. If I knew what I was doing here, I would post the link and just show you, but I will probably post it in the chat instead. Which is fine because I'm the only one posting in chat at the moment. Anyway, so as soon as I find a link here, I'm going to post up a link to our Biggest Geekest episode from last week, which was about wizards as well. So, not that there's anybody here to see the link yet. Maybe I'll wait until there's actually people here to look at it.
But you went live 15 minutes ago?
What I did was I just put up the Gatekeepers sign and had the mic off, and I was just looking around. I was
interesting
to find like a countdown that was more than 30 seconds, but that's all they have. That listed here. I'd have to probably go look for something or make something.
I made my own.
Yeah.
Well, since my video's screwed no matter what, I guess I'm opening up Discord again.
Say that again?
So, since my video's messed up no matter what, I'm just going to open up Discord again.
So there.
All right.
Okay. Censor Superman.
Would it make you? Yes, it would make us feel better if you chat. Please chat.
Please. Just knowing that there's someone here with us makes all the difference.
So I don't know. I had to step away for just a second, grab something to drink. I don't know what Joe said about Gatekeepers, but Gatekeepers is like a round robin thing. So just so happened that it's Joe's week this week. We put him to work.
Right. So, and apparently several people forgot that I cannot stream on YouTube yet because I'm not good enough. I haven't joined the 1,000K or.
I thought they changed that for some reason. I thought they changed that for some reason.
Well, Baron G Rock posted that he streams from Restream.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's still that limitation.
Well, you'd still have the limitation. It just wouldn't accept your stream. There are people do it through Restream. I used to do Restream when we did video game streams, but for StreamYard does everything I need it to do. I don't need to be any fancier than that because otherwise I get too fancy when I start doing my layouts and so forth. What's kind of cool about the Twitch thing, though, is you can cut out, if you know how to highlight, you can cut out the first 15 minutes of just dead air and export it to your YouTube channel, and you'll have it there anyway. That's what I do with all of our RPG Digest streams that you see on YouTube, unless you're actually watching the full stream, are actually highlighted from Twitch. So all the segment links are actually the Twitch highlights because it's easier for me to edit that way.
Right. Well, that's cool. So that first 15 minutes, I can probably just, you said,
highlight it out.
And I can do that from Twitch here in StreamYard after.
No, not StreamYard. Do it from Twitch. You go into Twitch. I can walk you through it. I do it every week with RPG Digest, and I make like 3 to 5 different, depending on how many segments we have, 3 to 5 highlights, and then upload them, export them to YouTube.
Okay, cool. So Censor Superman is our friend Tim.
Hi, Tim.
From Michigan.
Sorry. Oh, by the way, actually, go Michigan. Oh, sorry. This is your stream. Ohio State. Yes. Ha! Okay. I hate Ohio State.
So because I locked up. That's great.
Just for a second.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping because we upgraded our internet speed up and down, and I updated the firmware in our Wi-Fi router because of this problem. I was hoping that might fix it. So now either I have to replace the Wi-Fi router, or.
Are you physically plugged into your Wi-Fi when you're doing this?
Yes.
Okay, it shouldn't be the router then.
It shouldn't be.
It's probably your ISP.
I was thinking that that's possible, and I was hoping that perhaps somehow the routing was getting screwed up. The router was screwing it up, even though it wasn't the Wi-Fi part. But no.
Either that, or it could be the browser too. I'm still trying to figure out why I'm a weird color. So I don't know. And it isn't just.
You have to talk to your mama about that.
Oh, he went there. I know it shows fine when I do it on anything that's not a stream or a recording, but anytime I went through an application that included stream or recording, it turned me. So I think it's something to do with my computer, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know how to. I wouldn't know how to troubleshoot that. I used to work in network QA a long time ago, so I know the steps, and I know that it's probably the ISP. But
do you know my job?
No,
I work on video conferencing infrastructure.
Oh yeah, video conferencing.
Yeah, so all this right here, I'm like, yep. Mm-hmm. I don't have access to actually determine what's going on, but I have thoughts. And the thing is like with your ISP, it could just be late. It might not even be like, oh, but I got 8 million megabits per second. Yeah, but if it has latency.
Right, and they might also be throttling a little bit.
Yeah.
They may not like having streamers on their network.
Oh, well.
Welcome.
Uh-oh, we got Bruce.
Hello, Joe. Hello, John. How are you gentlemen tonight?
Good. So what did you end up shoving in your mouth without getting too graphic?
Quite finish it, but
wow.
Roast with a little bit of veggies and cheese and some mopping sauce.
Well, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
I had spaghetti.
That's a perennial favorite around my house and family.
Good deal.
The only thing I really like my plan was for tonight was that I loved your stream talking about wizards, and I think we could talk for 7 hours. We won't be able to, but we could probably talk for about 7 hours just on a class or two from the editions of the game we've played.
Right. And we did an overview of the various wizard iterations throughout the editions, even the ones that aren't acceptable from from Max over here, or me, really, at this point. Even though we're going to probably at some point rebrand D&D against Wizards of the Coast's wishes. It's going to be rebranded as WotC, either WotC D&D or just taking the D&D part out.
Yeah, it's WotC 3rd edition.
We'll go there. We'll have to go there en masse, and they won't be able to defend themselves because
See? There's no D&D on there.
Yeah. We'll have to go to their printers though, so it'll be on everybody's books.
Right.
I wonder if somebody won a lottery, how much money it would cost just to pull the license, just to buy the license
From Wizards?
from Wizards.
Oh, they're not going to sell.
But they're not going to treat it right either.
Wow,
No.
my color changed. What the hell? I look away and my color changes. That happens all the time. Every time this color changes, I'm looking away. I have magic powers.
Huh, maybe it's Bruce.
I blame Bruce.
Maybe it's, or you're in between two white guys here and color corrected somehow. All right, so I'm working late hours all the time, so I didn't really have a whole lot of time today to prepare any kind of and locked up again. Surprise.
Any kind of a time stop spell?
Time stop. Yeah, that would be good.
Yes, Crafty. I did see it. I'm jealous, but what am I going to do?
Oh, yes. Yeah, what are you going to do? Goulash. We like that too.
Is that just a Californian word for hot dish?
Well, I never heard of that phrase before you said hot dish.
Well, Hater, you got to be from Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the entire stream in Uper. So the wizard, oh, such an interesting character.
But what you call hot dish is probably just a casserole, right?
Don't you use those foreign words on me, burner?
It's an actual word.
No, it's not.
Slang.
Duck, duck, gray duck, damn it.
What?
In Minnesota, we don't say duck, duck, goose, and that just sounds really horrible when somebody says it. We say duck, duck, gray duck. And I'm telling you, when somebody says duck, duck, goose, I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, yeah. But it's only in Minnesota. So, just like the hot dish, no, there's no casserole. It's just hot dish.
I don't suppose I need to have Twitch up next to me since I can see the chat here in StreamYard. It's just confusing me with the delay. There's a second or two delay, something like that.
Oh, I just pop out the chat, so I'm not watching myself on video. I hate looking at myself on video.
Yeah, I don't really care.
This line. What the hell's going on, man?
It's age, dude.
Stop it. I'm not that old.
No, you're not. You should see the lines on my noggin.
I'm glad you clarified that.
I did put a delay in there on purpose.
Was it? Not hot dish. Yeah, that's hot dish. Hot dish is grab whatever the hell's in the fridge that's about to rot, throw it in a bowl, stir it up with either some chili sauce, or if you want to actually do it the correct way, you use the cream of mushroom.
Cream of mushroom.
I hate cream of mushroom
soup is the fix. That's the entire state of Minnesota fix. If we ever run out of cream of mushroom soup, if we all those super tankers off of the coast of LA, if those all sink and we lose all of our cream of mushroom soup, Minnesota's going to be the first one to go.
Oh, Hater, don't do that. Actually, I hate cream of mushroom soup. That's why I hate hot dish. But anyway, aren't we supposed to be talking about wizards? Not crazy Minnesotans.
Sure.
Weirdos.
Also, I'm showing Max that my glasses do the same thing his do.
What?
Maybe not to the same.
Oh, I can do it when I'm looking straight on. Can you do that? I'm telling you, this is called gravitational lensing. Look it up.
My head's too big.
My head's too big.
It's too big. Yeah, it doesn't quite reach the sides.
Oh, look, you can see all my Besom stuff. That's kind of cool. And all my monstrous compendiums.
That's nice.
Nice.
You can see my door.
I can see your door.
Yeah. It's because of how things are oriented in here. There's no way for me to.
Hey, we don't. YouTube's going to ban you if you say orient.
He's on YouTube, though, is he?
Twitch is worse.
Yeah. Arguably worse. Yeah.
I'm trying to self-censor. It's not working well.
I hear people saying, you're going to do this on Twitch? Twitch is garbage. But I don't have a choice. So
yeah.
we're going to just go with it for now. Anyway, Wizards. So one of the things I think a neat takeaway from looking at Wizards across the editions is that in early editions, Wizards were very weak.
Weak
in a lot of ways. Oh, sure. Especially first level, you had one spell and you were done. You had to hide behind the wizard shield. I mean, the fighter's shield the rest of the day.
That's the fighter's job, and if the fighter didn't do it, that's the fighter's fault.
Correct. So weak. That's what I mean by weak. And I think that carried through all the way through second edition. They didn't really change a whole lot in the spec because there was no mitigation for memorization. You had what you had.
Play a specialist wizard. That'd be the only way. Then you get 2 spells, huh? 2.
I never liked specialists.
What?
Never did.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
Well, a lot of them were kind of dumb. Or like Abjurer. That's just a name. Maybe they had better names.
No, the Abjurer would have been fine if it's actually useful. That's one of the things Heathen Dog talks about. This is like one of the very few things he likes about 5th edition is he likes concepts like the Abjurer because it makes sense. Let me make a buff bot that can help my friends. Or actually, I think it was a diviner for him. But either way, let me make a buff bot that can help my friends. It sounds good. We've all played MMOs. We all played computer games. And while I don't want the game to run that way, conceptually, I really like it, especially since I don't allow healing the way healing works by the rules. So yeah, that'd be great. But that's what you can't really do that in first and second edition. While you can in 5th because the Abjurer is actually a viable class.
What do you do with healing in your world that is different from rules?
They're HOTS. If you heal it for 8 points of damage, it takes 8 rounds to do that healing.
Well, early editions, it wasn't that different because if you look at Cure Light Wounds, I believe it takes a whole turn.
I don't remember that. That might be true. But normally, if you heal, at least in second edition, if I heal you for 8, you get 8 points of damage. But what I didn't for healing spells, actually, to be fair, I don't think I've done that. But for healing potions, I definitely do that. If you get a D8 plus 3 or whatever it happens to be, you roll a 5 and get that 8, it's taken 8 rounds for that healing to kick in. It's because I don't believe in the down, up, down, up, down, up, mode of combat.
I don't think I care.
How long is it around in your
there are a lot of people don't care. And it's not about, I know somebody's going to be like, well, you're trying to make it realistic. It has nothing to do with being realistic. It has to do with the fact that I want you to be afraid of a fight.
Well, I don't think potions, even used as is, really take that away, really. Because sometimes you can get killed so bad a potion can't bring you back.
Well, no, I agree with that. It's just, and then like for heroism potions and super heroism potions, I have addiction rules.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you're taking liquid morphine. You're going to get addicted.
Maybe. It just magically goes away and you don't feel any after effects.
If you want to be boring about it.
Yeah, sure.
If you want to play by the rules.
Or if you want to be a dick about it.
I've been called worse by better.
Yeah. Hey, it's a different feel. So you you like more of a grim or gritty feel.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So that's how you do it.
But I'm also pretty careful about not going out there. Using the wizard concept. Like I think I heard it on your video. I can't remember exactly, but talking about giving wizards maximum hit points automatically from the start. I'm like, why? I've played wizards, multiple wizards that had 1 hit point at first level and then had 2 hit points at second level because I'm a horrible roller sometimes. Again, it's the fighter's job. Now, you also have to pick and choose your battles in certain regard. Well, a house cat could kill you. Yes, it could. If a GM is throwing a house cat at your face, that's a bad game master. At the same time, if you're coming across a party of goblins or orcs or something small like a wild animal or whatever, you've got to be tactful about it. And the first thing the warrior does and says, anything even looks at that wizard crazy, because I know in about 15 adventures that dude's gonna be throwing fireballs everywhere. I'm on it. I'm stopping it.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I just 1 hit point. Anybody with 1 hit point just doesn't seem. What if everybody just rolled 1 hit point?
So
we'd all be protecting each other.
Again, I have too many house rules. So, like, if you wizards don't get to reroll. I'm not used to the camera being this time. Wizards don't get to reroll. Thieves, again, this is 2nd edition AD&D, so thieves roll a d6, so they get to reroll 1s. Clerics get to reroll 1s and 2s, and fighters get to reroll 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Oh, so you just don't like wizards?
No, wizards only get a d4. I until just a couple of years ago, I almost always played wizards. Then I flopped over to clerics. Now I just play clerics.
Joe,
Wait, what was that? I don't know where my baby is, but she's.
Let me put it up again.
Oh, okay. Got poltergeists.
Yeah.
Joe, have you used StreamYard to stream upload on YouTube or no?
No, I can't.
Really? I wonder what the limit is.
1,000 subs.
Grandfathered. I mean, I've got a channel that's like 12 years old. I get it. But
well, there's 2 requirements, and one of them was 1,000. The other one was like so much view time. So you've been on long enough. Maybe you got grandfathered in with your view time. It's like 5,000 hours or something like that.
Oh, so no, I'm not nearly that high up.
So I don't know.
Yeah, they got hardcore about around the time that we picked up on YouTube, which was when did we start this? 2014, 2015. So that's cool. We can do Twitch. You can get bits on Twitch, right? You're an affiliate?
No.
My God. How do we get you money? Get a PayPal.
I have PayPal.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Donate money to Biggest Geek so they can get more subs. They can buy them. Don't do that. Don't
no,
do
I'm
that.
not going to do that. No. Clerics are better than wizards. Oh, I agree that they are mechanically superior in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. And then, as we talked about, I think on the last RPG Digest, maybe it was Bruce and I were talking. I don't know when I talk anymore. I had so many streams the last couple weeks. But I've seen so many people like across the entire world play clerics. Is like, you don't have to memorize. Just pick a spell when you want to cast it. God gives it to you. So not only do I get to wear armor, I have a decent THAC0. I have really good saving throws. And now you're telling me I have the whole list of spells when I want it?
Actually, you're supposed to memorize. You're supposed to memorize for clerics.
Yes, you're supposed to, but I don't see DMs doing it.
Well, I've seen both. So, but yeah, because that's the justification. But you could make any kind of justification you want, even for wizards to do that. I mean, I've read this book 50 million times. How many times do I have to read it to know what it is? Right.
The power leaves. It escapes your brain.
Right. I mean, I read trying to figure out precisely what was meant by memorization. So I read the book, even though some folks have accused me of never reading it. So
are you even literate?
No, I'm not.
I thought in the older editions they didn't even call it memorization. They called it preparation.
No, preparation came along later.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Memorization was how it was described first.
That was first edition, right? And basic.
And the way it was described is once you cast it, it's wiped from your mind. So the way I think of it is you memorize patterns and symbols and things like that, and you do it over and over and over again. In Rule Cyclopedia, it says it only takes you an hour to memorize all of your spells. However,
that's good.
In first edition, it's 15 minutes per spell level.
15?
Yes.
Because in second edition, I remember correctly, it was 10 minutes per spell level.
Well, either way, that's a long.
Yeah, 90 minutes just for one 9th level spell. And if you blew your wad the day before, you're like, guys, we're not traveling today.
Right, and that's why I told Rainey, so that's why those high level wizards don't want to go anywhere. because they might have to cast a spell and then spend all day, rememorizing everything, or over the course of a couple of days because you got to sleep. So yeah, that memorization thing, always. Well, I think I made the mistake early on and have only recently, maybe over the last few years, kind of been cured of it. Tried to imagine a wizard like a D&D wizard or magic user, as they were first called, as a novel wizard, a wizard from a novel or a story, TV show, movie, whatever. And you really can't, because they don't behave the same way. You have to shake that and say, this is how the D&D wizard is, and live with it. So
and that's one of the things that makes D&D and D&D, when we're always ranting about people changing Dungeons and Dragons to be other stuff, and why I don't like things like all race all class that's in WotC D&D now, why I don't like the Lego characters. I mean, they're also talking about taking out alignments. I mean, we can look at so many different things of the game that are dumb. I mean, let's be fair. There are a lot of things that are dumb or could be done better. Ascending versus descending armor class. Objectively, ascending's better. I still think it's wrong. I still think descending armor class makes it Dungeons and Dragons because it's just part of the trope what it is. Same with the wizard stuff. Yeah, there are many different wizard options out there in terms of different games you could play that would be different and arguably better. Maybe not even arguably, maybe just definitively better.
Yeah, probably.
But then it's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's like when people pull out those 2.5 books, like, look, you can do spell points. I'm like, then that's not Dungeons and Dragons.
Have you even looked at really what those spell point system really sucked, because you still had to essentially memorize. You just use spell points to, figure out what you memorize. It was really stupid.
I looked at it and said, oh, spell points now.
I mean, I was going to say sinuses ended up getting points at some point, but I know you're not in favor of psionics in D&D, I don't think, right?
They're broken. I don't like the idea of anything you don't have to work for, and that's why I don't like sorcerers. That's why I don't like psionicists. I conceptually, I'm not against them. They just don't feel right in Dungeons and Dragons. Even when you play a first edition game with the wild psionics, it just doesn't feel right. There's something off about it. I didn't like Dark Sun. I mean, I get why people do like it. I'm not like, Dark Sun's horrible, get rid of it now. Like I do Planescape. But that's for you, Randy. And
later on tonight, we will have John doing some Planescape ASMR. He'll be operating a paper shredder in slow motion
and putting my hand in it. But I forgot what I say now. There are just some things. Oh, nope, I forgot. I'm out.
The things that don't fit with D&D is what you're talking about, like psionics.
The sonic thing, it just changes the feel, and that's one of the things I thought was important. Whether I'm playing basic or I'm playing first edition or I'm playing second edition, it still feels like D&D to me until you hit the WotC crap, and then it no longer does. And that's what's really important to me. That's why I don't like third edition either. I know a lot of people out there cut their chops on third edition, but I still think third edition is garbage. Is it okay as a basic game? Sure. And to be fair, to keep it on topic now, I've never played a wizard in third edition Dungeons and Dragons. I always played some weird Lego class. I don't even know what it ended up being. Some monstrosity of a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Right.
And sorcerers, I absolutely despise. As Heathen Dog says about druids, sorcerers are born stillborn.
I never liked them when they came out in third edition. I mean, in third edition, they were weak. Very weak.
Sorcerers?
They're horrible.
Yeah, they were a horrible class.
Everybody played them because they didn't have to freaking learn anything.
They didn't have any fucking spell power. They didn't have the bloodline powers that Pathfinder shoved onto them.
Mm-hmm.
They only had a marginal amount of spells, maybe a little more than a basic wizard. But you had to cast these 4 or 6 spells, and that was it. You didn't get to learn spells. You had a small list that you could pick from.
That's why people liked it. It was lazy gaming.
It was lazy gaming, but the sorcerer was literally just somebody who said, I want to spam magic missile. And that's it.
I can't read that. Sorry. My
Which
eyes
one?
are really bad. It was a Senior Superman. That long one that he posted on there.
I haven't had a chance to experiment with it, but I had the thought with the cleric,
like that.
you want to give them full access to spell list, have them pray on a spot for each spell.
Something like that sounds interesting to me.
That could be a lot of DCC right there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of as well. And the thing is DCC feels more like Dungeons & Dragons to me than WotC Dungeons & Dragons does. Now, that's a little more gonzo than my taste tends to like. But, I mean, I could see Sorcerers are garbage. Okay. I mean, I could see something like that. And I think that would be a good balance between, all right, you have the entire book available to you, but whether God gives it to you or not, sorry, but right now, I don't feel like it. I'm out. Busy. Leave me alone.
You had those bad thoughts 5 minutes ago.
Right?
You
There you go.
Spells. Right.
So
So
thinking of the altar girls. Stop it.
right. Oh no, not that one. Yes, this one about Gandalf. Gandalf is a special case because he's limited because of kind of the rules of the world. He's his race was kind of like he was like an angel and he had immense power, but he had to live himself on Earth. I'm really not sure what the not on Earth, in Middle Earth. Not sure what the ramifications would have been if he kind of like went ballistic. I mean, he did on the Balrog because it was necessary, and he ended up dying.
Well, dying.
He got reborn, so it was a overall plus. Right. So spells should be mentally taxing to memorize and should be exhausting to cast. Well, also, if you get stabbed in the gut, you probably should have some penalties other than losing hit points, but it's D&D, so.
Well, yeah, it's D&D. The one of the things about casting spells and being taxing and so forth that I think that D&D, I don't want to say it's missed the mark on, because I actually like the way D&D wizards feel, but I always felt that a wizard after about 3rd level just can't fight. I mean, the wizard has no hit points, and then the THAC0 or combat chart or whatever the hell your matrix or whatever you're using, I'm gonna say THAC0 because I'm a 2nd edition guy, was so horrible that you weren't going to hit anything, even if you were using your dart or staff or whatever one weapon you had that you're allowed to use.
4th level, I go up to a 19.
Yay! Right? But the thing is the spells. It didn't matter what level you were, you needed somebody there to protect you. And while I'm not necessarily against that, I think I would have liked to have seen maybe and I'm just theory crafting right now. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the game. I like it as is, but it'd be nice to either let the wizard fight a little bit harder and then keep the spells toned down. Like, especially like what they did in 2nd edition, where you had absolute caps of, 10d6 instead of 20d6 and so forth, or 26, whatever.
Right.
Or if not more spells, let that spell be like, look, do you really want me to cast this? I'm going to forget it, and it's going to tire me. Kind of like the whole, for lack of a better term, kind of like the whole Raceland thing. Every time he casts a spell, he went in these hacking fits and so forth. And I know the whole backstory as to why that was, but that conceptually, where it's like, but if I throw this fireball, understand I'm wiping out the entire landscape. Are you sure you want me to do this? Do you want to tax it, or do you want us just to go? Just let us through. Because if I put a curse on you, it is actually going to bounce between you, the guy next to you, your family, your firstborn son, hell, your grandparents that died are going to come out of the ground and curse, But my point being is like there's always been this thing with magic where it's like, how far can it go? Can this guy curse me? Can he hurt me? Can you? And of course, everybody's just like, no, it's just 46.
Yeah.
No, there should be something behind that. It's like, I don't know what he can do, and while he may be able to blow me up, and that's quick, thank God. He could do other stuff that I'm not exactly sure about that I kind of want to stay away from, but you don't have that because it's all game mechanics. So my point being, because I like to ramble, is either make the magic weaker, but let them fight a little bit more, or have there be a reason for the monsters or the NPCs or whatever go, there's a wizard there. I think I'm just going to backtrack for a moment and rethink my life, or really take a second look before I decide to charge on in. Because even the fighter's going, yeah, come on at us, bro.
Right. Magic is reliable in the base game, D&D. Magic is reliable. And that's good on one hand, but like you're saying, it's not as good if the magic wasn't, if everybody didn't know that precisely when you did a magic missile, it was only going to do a D4 +1 or D6 +1, depending on version, to one person, instead of all the opposition saying, oh no, the wizard's casting a spell. Anything can happen. Somebody in the back's going, it's not very bad. It's not. Bill's arrow is worse than that,
right?
So it's too reliable. So a little bit of unreliability. Whether it's, I'm not so keen on it only being corruption. Like DCC has a corruption thing going on, but if when you cast a spell, there was a variety of things that could happen, including
almost like playing a wild mage without all the comedy.
Right. So you could have a little bit of that, and I'm more in the camp of, and I'm kind of designing our spells in our game like this, that if it's an element like fire, a lot of different things can happen, and one of them is you become ground zero of the fireball yourself if you roll bad enough.
I used to throw in a critical chart for it. It didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. This is a long time ago, but I thought, I like critical charts. What happens if I have a spellcasting critical chart based on what the person rolls for the save? It didn't work out as well as I'd hoped.
Right. But I could see someone extrapolating out a little bit and increasing the possibilities beyond just what the spell itself could do. I mean, especially
like secondary effects?
Like a secondary effect, or, hey, there's a ley line here. You cast fireball and you rolled really poorly, or maybe you rolled really well, and all kinds of things happen that you didn't intend. I wouldn't do it with low level spells, but once you got into the higher level spells, sure, all kinds of mayhem could happen, and when you unleash all of that power.
See, I think it would be fun at low levels to have a little bit less control over that, but at high levels, because you are high level and you've learned, one of your advantages is that if you live that long, okay, now you've got a little bit more control over that. The problem is whether it's a wild magic chart or it's a critical hit table or whatever, I find they turn silly quickly, or they're useless. And it's hard to balance that out. One of the things I did with my critical chart, why people stole it a lot back in the 90s after I wrote it up, is because a lot of my criticals, this is for the people who like that sort of thing, aren't cut off arm, cut off head. A lot of them are just +5 damage. Like 50% of what you could roll is literally just +5 damage, and it's all interspaced in there. Then there are other things. Roll an extra D6, roll an extra D8. So almost 80% of it is just a little tweak more in a different way, and then 20% of it is gut wound. You're bleeding because the one thing I took out of the black books were bleeds. I added those to my critical hit chart. I added the bleeds. So you actually have to use cure moderate wounds in order to heal a certain type of bleed. Your cure light wounds might cure the wound up top, but you're still internal bleed. Again, I'm a dick like that. I like that grittiness.
Yeah. A lot of people like gritty. Or what's the other word they like to use instead of grim?
Grim. I don't want it to be so gritty that you're scared to do anything. I think that people go overboard with it, but I want you to have consequences for your actions. As Sheris has talked about a few times, when I run Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it sounds like a fun comedy game until you get shot that first time with a bullet, because that bullet may only do 3d6 SDC damage to you, which is the equivalent of a tenth of your hit points at some point. It stuns you for 4 rounds or something like that, or we'll even say 2 rounds. 2 rounds for an average character is going to be 8 actions. I walk up to you and take my last 7 actions, shooting you in the skull. So things like that. Right.
So, in looking at some of the older edition spells, especially from Rule Cyclopedia, I was really surprised. I had forgotten. So sleep is hands down the best first level spell for a long time, I think. Because
I heard you guys talking about that. I didn't take a chance to compare the rules, but I know I'm not a huge fan of sleep in second edition.
Well, in first edition, you could sleep up to 16 individuals, depending on their hit die.
Okay.
And there's no save.
Right. You just roll. I think it's the same in second, if I remember. It's like 2d4, 2d8 you roll to see how many fall asleep. I forget off the top of my head.
It's 2d. It's 2 to 8 in second edition.
Okay, so it's 2d4. Got it.
Yeah, and 2d8 in Beckme. So that's quite a big difference. And the no save is really.
Beckme's also the D6 magic missiles too, isn't it?
Yeah, D6 plus 1, but you don't get your second magic missile till 5th level. You get it. You get 1. You start out with 1, and then you get your extra. You only get 2. You get 2 so you end up with 3 at. I
think I'd rather still have the D6 plus 1 because if you think about it, a half hit or 1 hit die creature averages 4.
Mm-hmm. So
chances are you're going to kill you. You got a 50% chance of that magic missile being a killer.
Yeah, but and that works on anything. So, but the sleep spell has limited, not hugely limited, but fairly limited targets. So I mean, if you're fighting undead or plants or something like that, it's not going to be very useful. Constructs, that kind of thing. But it's very effective. But if you're first level, you probably do want, if you, I think I rolled randomly for the character I played just to see what he got because, I don't know. I just wanted to roll randomly. Anyway, ended up with sleep and I didn't see any reason never to, I still don't see any reason to not prepare it. Because it's widely effective, although we had a session where it wasn't so effective, but it's only been the one time. So, but
what are you guys doing to possibly change that in your Mudsworn game?
Mudsword, yeah. And that's just a code name, but yeah.
Right.
Put up a couple of these. So initially we are going to. I'm adding a few alternate effects, such as, and it's for higher level. It's not for low level. Low level, you get the base spell. Higher level, you can use, it's for certain spells, you can use 2 slots. You prepare it in 2 slots and it does something different, or maybe increases the effectiveness. At a higher level, you can leave slots open. And if you do that, leave slots open, you can either quick prepare a spell in 15 minutes, or you can spontaneously cast a spell. However, that runs some risk and you could end up blowing yourself up. So
that's awesome.
So
based on what Crafty was saying here, that's actually a mistake that game masters make throughout like all the editions, as far as I'm concerned. They just hand wave the whole thing of like, oh, you need this scroll now, so I need you to be able to cast it right now. You know, things like that. It's something that I've seen. Yeah, I've seen like, oh, you found a scroll of this. You didn't cast Read Magic, didn't take the time to figure it out, or it's one of those things that I've seen hand waved ever since I started playing D&D. I've had a few dungeon masters use it. Myself, I'm like 50-50 on it because usually I forget. It's not that I'm just trying to give it to the player. I sometimes just forget.
Right. I think we went ahead and just said, you find a scroll. Do you have Read Magic? No. Well, we'll wait until the next day and then prepare it, and then you can read them.
Do you ever get the whole, well, then that's just going to waste 2 days because I'm not going to cast that spell and not have these 14 other spells that I always have every day. I hate that. That's why I hate a
scroll you can use now.
I hate. Oh my god, I don't like it when players do that. Or this, and that's the sorcerer to me, because every sorcerer I've ever seen does that. Like, nope, I have these exact spells. I can only ever use these exact spells, and I get that's part of the rule. But I'm not 7th level yet, but I know exactly what spells I'm gonna have at 7th level. It's the only thing I'm gonna do. I won't break from this. It's like I'm using my traveling routine now, for the wizard side of it, and I only have these spells memorized for traveling. Since we're in a dungeon, I actually have book 2 memorized, and that means these set of spells. So if I do Read Magic, well, then I'm screwed for 2 days because I have to have this for that. It's like, shut up, dude, and play the game.
Right. You got to make choices, and if you choose not to have Read Magic, then you choose not to be able to figure out what these scrolls are.
Crafty, that's what a thief is for. Sipping the potions is what a thief's job is.
Yeah, that's what we do. Actually, he's letting the wizard do it. I don't think most DMs required. Yeah, there's a lot of that. I don't play a lot of 5e, so I don't know. And I think that what we did with potions is he let the wizard. He let my wizard sip, and we tested them out that way.
I guess I would say if you have some sort of alchemy skill, I don't see why you couldn't.
Right.
Other than that, I write down a list. I don't have it with me, and I change it. I found out I change it for every campaign, and I don't know why. It's stupid. But I had a list that I was writing out, and it's like, this is the blue with phosphorescent flecks in it. Right. All right, if everybody's writing that one down because it'll be the same every time. Like, oh, this is the purple one with the little spider tendrils going out there. Like, I don't know if I want that one. I like to do things that way. So once you do find that type of potion that you know from now on, okay, that's a healing potion, that's not. And I always make the poisons very subtly different, but the same.
I think that that's a good idea. It adds to your world so that you have some continuity and players know what to expect.
Where Sheriff will tell you about, I used to make them make saving throws anytime they took a healing potion because it tastes so horribly.
Make a saving throw.
Yep, dude, I do everything to stop you from just potion popping. I did not do the hots in that game though, so I didn't double whammy them.
Right. Actually, in Rules Compendium, it's like that. They say at first level, your wizard mentor sticks around, and every time you gain a level, you go back to that mentor to learn a new spell until third or fourth
level. Fourth level is when he stops training you so much. At seventh level, he cuts a cord.
Yeah, something like that.
Seventh level, you're already damn near a master. Is there a misconception? Maybe there's a misconception because of 5th edition, but a retired veteran character, soldier of many wars, is 5th level.
I think fifth level might even be their title, veteran.
Something like that. Yeah. 5th level is like captain of the guard type stuff. I mean, adventurers don't make it to 20th level often. At least they're not supposed to. So the mentor doesn't cut ties until 7th level. You're okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's 5e. I mean, I don't know which book it is, but one of the books back there. What's that?
That was Cyclopedia from Basic.
Yeah,
that was.
I think it's. I don't think it's a hard rule. It's the way the language is more like typically or sometimes or something like that. It uses a word that the DM can wiggle with and say, yeah, that's how it typically works. But your mentor says, it's kicked you out of his hut and he said goodbye.
I don't remember which book it was in. I unlike some people, I don't memorize all my books. I use them when I need them. But there was something in there kind of talked about how a 3rd level character is competent, a 5th level character is a veteran, and when people hit like 8th level, they're if not world, they're definitely regionally known as somebody important. And this is even about adventurers. This is about the non-adventuring types that just so happen to be, hey, this character is an 8th level wizard, the 5th level, whatever. Right. I wish I remember what book that was in. It's definitely in one of the ones I have back there. But I use that when I use for characters when I'm like, oh, he's just 10th level? What do you mean just 10th level?
I don't know which version of the game had this, but I know that there used to be some sort of table where it had it broken down by level and how many in a particular population size leveled characters there would be.
Wasn't that 1st edition AD&D?
It might have been. It could be just like one of the gazetteers or something like that had it for that particular setting. But I think there
I've
was
seen
some
the same
more
thing
generic things.
I just don't remember where I saw it either.
Right.
But I know what you're talking about.
Right, and the upper levels were all single digits.
Yeah,
I mean, it started pretty soon after 10th. Once you had teen teen was pronounced with your level, yeah, it was single digits.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think looking at the rules compendium and playing some a game, playing the game we're playing now, which is kind of based in it, I'm liking the wizard more from there than I did from the newer editions, even though they're weaker. I mean, as far as
are they? I hear people complain about 5e wizards all the time. I don't get it because I don't play 5e, but I hear people complain about 5e wizards all the time.
Well, this is why I think a lot of people complain. So when I first looked at the 5e books, I was like, what? When you are used to playing a 3rd edition character, or maybe 4th, or Pathfinder, you're used to having a certain amount of spells at each level as a wizard. And 5th edition really cut that down a lot. So the upper level spells, like 7th, 8th, and 9th, you only have one of each. One or two. I think it's just one.
Oh, wow.
And so
I should crack open my 5e book one day.
So you look in it and you're like, oh, hey, they have this ability to where they can get a spell back. You know, once they get a certain level, they can rest. They can take a short rest, the whole short rest thing, and get some spells back. But it only applies to 5th and lower spells. It's never for the high level spells. So at most, you're going to have 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells, one each, I believe. And
one of my objects that I try, and I'll beg a GM, I don't know, I'll whine until I can finally get one, is a Ring of Wizardry, man. That's I love those things. You know, get that book that raises my intelligence. I forget what it's called, like Book of Ineffable Deeds, or I think that's a cleric one actually. Whatever. Get my book that raises my intelligence, and 2 Rings of Wizardry. Hey, there you go, Gainful Conjuration, and then 2 Rings of Wizardry. I'll throw those protection rings on if I'm going into an elemental, plane, or if I'm dealing with, some sort of, crazy dragon breath or something. But most of the time I'm walking around like, I'm ready. I'm stoked. I got the 1st through 4th, and I've got I forget what the powerful one is. Let's go. I can just start throwing fireballs all day.
Yeah.
Powered kill, disintegrate. Let's do it.
I thought there was only up to the one ring for only up to 4th level spells.
Yeah, I think it's only up to 4th level.
But still, that's really good.
But some of them are just for 1st level spells. You get that really good one that includes,
1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and 4th. There is one for that.
Yeah.
So the one about cantrips, I never liked that. Cantrips historically have been weak spells. They shouldn't be powerful, in my opinion.
They shouldn't have any, literally 0 combat effect. They shouldn't heal. They shouldn't damage. They shouldn't grease the ground. They shouldn't cloud your eyes. I don't know what else they do.
I think it started in 3rd edition, definitely in Pathfinder, and it is in 5th edition. It's a way for the wizard to always have some kind of magical thing they can do, and an offensive thing.
No, that's not. No, that defeats the purpose of the cantrip. Like I don't mind when in 2nd edition I played with a lot of dungeon masters that say, okay, look, if you memorize cantrip, it has to take up a slot. I'll let you pretty much do whatever you want with it all day. Don't care, but it still maintains what it says in the writing. Obvious magical effect, and everybody knows that is just a dumb little tool that you're doing. But if you want to do it to make a little money, at the bar with a bard singing songs, or if you want to have it to, make a broom sweep your freaking, effectively animate object. I know you could argue that, but it's non-combat. It's not anything. Just, it looks neat. You got a broom you're sweeping your house. Fine. I don't care. I played with a bunch of GMs that did that, but it always maintained that same criteria. It's non-combat, and don't even try.
Right. And I think you can even have the wizard have that capability without it taking a slot, and it's not too powerful.
Sure.
So
the silly thing is
preference.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. The silly thing is they have to make up a number. 0th level spells. Yeah, there we go. That's weaker than 1st. Well, why didn't you just retool the game so that it now went to 10th level spells? Oh wait, that's been done once.
Yeah, Ray of Frost.
Yes, that is stupid. No, not barely. Does 0 damage. Otherwise, It shouldn't be a cantrip. No. It shouldn't be a 0th level spell. Like you said, they're just trying to throw a freebie damage out there. Now, to be fair, as we said earlier, There should be a way that a wizard can continue to do damage when the Thaco is down to like, I got my 19 Thaco guys at 6th level, yay! When the warrior's like, just stand back. I'm barely hitting it, and I've got strength bonuses and everything.
D4 -2. That's still too much. That's way too powerful. It will break the world. I just think it changes the tone of the game. So where in previous iterations you had to think about running out, you had to think about being depleted. Not so much anymore. And I'm okay with having effects like cantrips, and you can do those and do something. You can clean your clothes or make your food taste good or whatever. But being able to have an all day do damage to something without running out is probably a bad idea.
I really think that the premise behind that is, well, the warrior can do it. Why can't I? And it's not necessarily a bad concept, but it goes back to, do we want the wizard doing a little over a long time, or do we want the wizard to be feared?
Right. Because a little over a long time means, whatever.
Right. I want the wizard to be feared. That little SOB over that little Mortimer Snurd ever since Heavy Gear did that, I've stolen that name. That little 98-pound weakling Mortimer Snurd standing over there, it's not coming out of his nose all the time. That's some bitch. Guess what? I'm not messing with him because I know he can levitate me in the air, slam me to the ground 14 times, and then throw me to the freaking moon. I'm out. I'm not going to have that.
Well, looks like Baron G-Rock is bowing out. So good night.
All right, Baron. Have a good night.
Light is a cantrip. Yeah, that's another thing.
As long as it's not used as a weapon. If it's just, I'm putting light on a stick, I'm okay with that.
Right, but with the older versions of all these spells, like continual light, maybe it's as a second level spell, it might be, you could say it's too powerful, but that makes a permanent light. So you don't necessarily, you just have to wait. Let's wait till your third level. You can cast.
And what is the wizard? An investment.
Yeah. Make everybody's sticks glow, and they can put a little piece of whatever over it, and whenever they need the light, they uncap it, and you got light. You don't need to have the cantrip do that. I'm much more for the early version of cantrips just being neat tricks, potentially useful only from a social point of view, maybe.
Yeah, story or social, yeah.
Yeah.
And by story, I go back to like what I was saying. You can have a little broom sweeping your front porches as the characters come up or something.
Yeah.
But they'd see an obvious glow around it, know it's magical, have like a little neon sign saying, "Hi, I'm magic," or something. Right. Bruce is magically silent.
Very magically silent. Maybe he's eaten his fill and pulled up his pillow. Right. I think that's my primary takeaway from what I've the research I've done so far into the old. It's been such a long time since I played that version of the game. You forget so much. In that 4 to is it 4 to 16 or 2 to 16 for sleep. And there's and charm. Wow, that's powerful.
That stuff would last months.
Last months.
If your IQ is low, yeah.
And you don't have any limit on how many people you can charm.
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I didn't play an enchanter.
And wow, long time. And the DM Randy, we ran through a game on Saturday, and all these people, we didn't know they were charmed, and they also apparently had suggestion used on them. They all got turned into fanatical followers of this succubus. They were all charmed, and we just thought that they were evil cultists, and we killed them. And we found out they were charmed. Oops. And
where's the paladin now? I'm sorry, the warrior now.
Yeah. But we all thought about it. That many people charmed? That's got to be a really powerful caster down there. And while it was a succubus, later thinking about it, my character over time could do the same thing with charm person.
Well, a lot of it also has to do with charisma and the if I remember correctly, the target's intelligence. So if the target was stupid, you weren't rolling again for like 3 months.
Right. So you could charm one and then have him go talk to his buddies, and then one at a time you get them all under your spell.
The night time is the right time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this was a succubus, so she had that going for her too. So, right. So yeah, I think in some ways the older wizards you could say are weaker, but stronger in other ways. Sometimes their individual spells end up being better, even though I think you probably just have some folks who had like some favorites of their own to either make weak or make strong. In later, for the game designers of later on. I don't know why they didn't just keep the spells a certain way.
Everybody has to have their own thumbprint.
Correct. So they have to change the base spell. I mean, I can understand doing something else, but if I had written anything down, I'd sound more intelligent. But I didn't, because I didn't have
way to be prepared for your own stream.
Well, it was decided yesterday.
That is fair.
And I had to work yesterday and today. So, and I
Do
had to eat.
Do you see address books? Do you see addresses before your eyes when you're just staring at nothing?
When I first started, I used to dream about numbers. Because when I first started, I was a clerk, and then we had to learn the schema for the town. So we had to try to memorize. You had to be given an address and be able to say which route it's on. So I never really got that because I got to be a carrier, so I only had to really learn what I was carrying, which is much better than trying to learn all the schemas. Now they have it all automated, so the clerks don't even have to do that. They just stick the package underneath a machine. It tells them which route it goes on, and they toss it to that route. So it's a lot more. It's a lot easier for the clerk. They don't have to have nearly as good a memory, but after seeing addresses often enough, it does stick. So we can often in the office help each other. Like, where does this go? Oh, it goes to this route. So, but not anymore. I used to, and when I was early in the post office. Now, not so much, because you get your mail and you just follow it. So it's less needful to really memorize everything because it's in order. But yeah. So yeah, I guess I was just saying that I'm preferring the earlier version to the newer version of Wizards. I know Max does.
I used to play them all the time, so when people cry about the whole they died too soon, well, I mean, I had them die? Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
But I don't know. I just didn't have that problem because I either had good fighters or people would protect me, or I also took spells like armor, mage armor. Yeah, I didn't and shield. Shield's a great one when you start fighting against those stupid goblins who like to throw crap at you all the time. I wasn't just taking magic missile.
Rules Compendium shield gives you a 2 arm against arrows, and I think a 4 armor class against everything else. And that's a huge.
Was it everything else? I thought it was still just ranged. I forget. I
no, everything else. So different versions have done weird things with shield. I think the most recent is it gives you a +1 or 2 to your armor class.
Shield was an amazing spell. Now, it wasn't a perfect spell, but still, you're talking a first level character who's now got an AC, at least against ranged things, better than the warrior, because the warrior didn't start off with plate mail. Right. It's just plain literate. There you go. The thing is everybody wants the boom boom, and I get it, You
can't always do that. And a lot of times it's not relying on your party to do the actual damage and you doing more interesting things is a better strategy anyway.
especially at low levels. At high level, I get it. At high level, hey, warrior, just keep them off me. I got this. But before then, no, you want you want the warrior. So what's warrior going to do? There's no tanking like in an MMO where you know that the warrior is going to go out there and just stand there and soak up the damage while everybody else is doing stuff. This isn't how it works. The warrior actually was the damage dealer at the same time. It was the person going out there kicking ass and taking initials. Your job was to back up the warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you build that synergy. Warriors, like, I'm going after that guy right there. I really appreciate if you want to live through this fight, you're going to help me out with that. Like, okay, I got 2 magic missiles. That's all I got. Whatever, dude. That I've got 59 sword swings to follow that up, but at least it'll be something.
Right. And you just gotta, I always just bide your time. You don't blow your wad straight out the gate. You wait. I mean, if it makes sense. I mean, you might encounter your tough opponent right away, and then everything else after that might be negotiable. But you have to wait.
And there are always defensive spells that the wizard can have: invisibility, shield, a mage armor, stone skin. Obviously, now I've seen game masters try to screw over wizards that used. Well, that magic missile hit you 4 times, so that's 4 uses of your stone skin. Why even bother? All you have to do is, I don't know, anything acidic or gaseous. Guess what doesn't protect from that? Right. I mean, there are ways you can let the wizard not get chopped up a couple of times.
Or what a lot of people thought that was a great idea is to have a handful of coins.
Oh yeah,
that's
nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I threw 50 coins at him. That's 50 attack. No, and it wouldn't even count as 1 because it wouldn't do damage anyway.
Right, and that one, I think the reason that might have been the reason why they changed it in subsequent editions, where they just turned it into damage reduction. Like it takes 10 points off of each attack. I think that's what 3rd edition did.
Well, Stone Skin lasted for, if I remember correctly. Oh my God, I didn't memorize the book. But it was a number of attacks or up to so much damage, if I remember correctly. But that was free hit points, and it was a lot because it's a 4th level spell, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it
lasted.
Oh yeah,
however long it took for those attacks to get knocked off. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is if you as the dungeon master are worried about that one wizard, throw more people at the party, or try other things. Like I said, you can do the gaseous thing. It doesn't stop a gelatinous cube from sucking them up.
Right.
Like, it doesn't turn you into rock.
Yeah. Poison gas will still affect you, like you're saying. And that's the great thing about, I think, the older editions. Starting at 3rd edition, there was such a drive to try to balance encounters, or just the thought that you could even do that, which is stupid, because you can't, because players ruin everything.
That's Heathen Dog's word.
Being mostly a player, just having good rolls or bad rolls can change the challenge of a particular encounter. So just having X amount of orcs with X amount of hit points, that means it's a challenge. Well, what if you have the whole party rolling 20s out their butt?
Then good on them.
Yes. And
hey, what happens when all my orcs are rolling 20s?
Right. So yeah. So so in the case that you have a wizard who's discovered a spell, or that is really powerful, or is really good at doing their job, and it seems like you can't challenge them, let's throw some extra monsters in there because it's probably appropriate.
Yeah, that can be tough in the older editions, especially, because it is so dependent on the dice rolls. Like, like I could have sworn that you guys could easily take out 4 orcs with your 5 5th level characters. I don't understand how I'm winning this fight, but okay. But on the same time, be like, all right, this vampire and these 2 ghasts that are with them, that's going to be really tough. I don't think these guys can do it. And all of a sudden, like, we got this. Through it could be a combination of good tactics. See, what I didn't mind when players outsmarted me in the terms of tactics. In fact, I always enjoyed that. I hated it when they outsmarted me with just like, well, if I use this spell and he uses that spell and he jumps up and down twice, we win. You know that, right? I hated the I hate being beat by mechanics. But beat by tactics or beat by good dice rolls. I always loved it when the party did that. I was like, all right, that's cool. Good job. You guys took the high ground, or I never even thought about taking the door off its hinge and throwing it at someone or whatever. You know?
Right. And whatever the players decide to do.
I love that imagination.
Right.
And one of the things that I saw about 3rd edition, I feel the same way about Pathfinder and whatnot, is it's so much like, hold on. Do you have this feat? You don't? Okay. Do you have this one? Okay. So you got that feat, and I can combine it with this one. It's like, it just feels, again, like Battletech.
Right. And we're going to not, anytime anybody brings up the word feat, I want to slap them. Because I think I liked it at the time when I played 3rd edition. I thought it was an interesting addition to the game. But after having played it for a while, I understand what its detriment was. And that's the Lego characters, like you call them. Instead of all of a particular class's variations being contained within the class itself, which is probably the better way to do it. Kits, or when you get to a particular level, you have the option A, B, C to do. Or just to even have a different path. So if I was designing D&D, you wouldn't be a paladin at first level.
Oh, no.
Be a fighter. And then you
one of the things 1st edition Deb absolutely got right.
Right. So you would be a fighter first, and then at some point you would either be able to become a paladin, or you would be a knight first and then a paladin, depending. So depending on how you would want to run that. But you have to prove yourself.
Treat it like the knightly orders from Dragonlance.
Right. Or the wizardly orders. So the Towers of High Sorcery. So you can be just a plain old wizard until, what was it, 3rd or 5th?
Third level.
3rd, and then you had to choose. But you could do something.
Not only did you have to choose, you had to take a test that was about to kill you.
Yeah. So you could die at 3rd level by not even be from the adventure.
You could die from so many different reasons in the early editions of D&D as a wizard.
A dog could come up to you and bark, and you'd die.
Twist your wizard, you twist your ankle on the way to the job site, and next thing you know, you're being accosted by rabid wolves that can hear you crying in the snow.
Right.
Just remember, a house cat can do 1 to 2 points of damage.
Well, that's why we have the Pathfinder joke that Pathfinder's the first game that lets the commoner beat up the house cat.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the feats and so forth, and this is one thing I'm not disagreeing with you, because I actually do agree with you. I'm kind of taking this to the nth degree intentionally. That I don't like about modern Dungeons and Dragons compared to old Dungeons and Dragons, and where I'll even say my beloved 2nd edition, where kits are wrong, is that with an imagination, you only need wizard or magic user, fighter, cleric, and I think the thief should be in the game. You only need those 4. Everything else is designed by how you play the character, the weapons you use, and I don't know if you could do this in the original editions, but at least in 2nd edition, how you spend those points for your thief character. You don't actually have to have a specialist wizard. You could just say, hey, all my spells are going to be abjuration spells. And that's what you cast. That's what you have memorized. And one of the things that 3rd edition did wrong, and you can go back to 1st edition where it kind of started, but especially 2nd edition, even though they called it optional with the non-weapon proficiencies, is skills are horrible for Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons shouldn't have a single skill in the game. That it is a bad concept, is a bad idea. I'm not saying for other games. There are other games where it works perfectly. That's how it should be. But Dungeons and Dragons, to keep its feel, to actually keep its openness to do what you want, skills ruin that, because people start playing character sheets instead of playing characters. And 2nd edition, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again, people played non-weapon proficiencies wrong. They played them like skills. Like, oh, I can't build a fire because I don't have fire building. Well, no. Fire building is to say, if there's a blizzard outside, you're damn near naked. You're half dead. You have no food, and the tinder out here is about as bad as it can be. Good luck with that. Roll. Or I want to ride my horse, but I want to have my legs on wrapped around it as I'm shooting my arrow like this, riding from the side. Yeah, it might be a riding land-based roll. instead of just saying I have, where another character is like, nah, man, your character just fall off doing that. You don't even get really a choice in that. It was to show, hey, I can do something maybe mundane, but in an extraordinary manner. So anyway, yeah. I mean,
I
what
get
was
what
it?
you're saying.
Like, what was it? Astrology actually allowed you to predict the future?
Oh, really? I don't remember that, but
The
that's
original skill wording of it did.
What's that?
The original skill wording of astrology in second edition, you would pretty much be an augur without using a spell. You would
wow.
Yeah.
It wasn't powerful, but I'm going to look it up just to make sure, because I thought maybe it was in one of the other books, but I could have sworn it was in the player's handbook that if you did astrology. But the point is, like, anybody can be an astrologer. You got a freaking tarot deck, or you look up at the stars. Anybody can do it, make some money. But this character, because of having the
they could even be correct.
Yeah, right. Right. Astrology. First, you carry some understanding. Blah blah blah. The astrologer's insight into the future is limited to the next 30 days, and to his knowledge is vague at best. Okay. If a successful proficiency check is made, the astrologer can foresee some general event, a great battle, a friend lost, a new friendship made. I hate spells like that because the party, well, it is general, but still, it's like, oh, one of you is going to die. Now it's a game master. I'm like, damn it, I have to kill one of them. No, I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying. Like, but yeah, I mean, it isn't just, okay, I know the stars, and I know that it was Leo rising or whatever the hell that nonsense is called means, whatever. No, it's like you can get something from it. So all the non-weapon proficiencies were supposed to give you just a little extra oomph, but people treated them like skills. So then all of a sudden, now people are like, well, I only get one proficiency every 4 levels, so there's only 4 things I can do in my entire life. It's like, no, that's...
So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the roll under thing. I'm not a huge fan of it. I get it. But I guess
it makes sense for the attributes.
Right. Well, kind of. Just because you have X intelligence doesn't mean you know everything. So
fair.
If you had I think if you had a good handle on as a DM on what constituted rare knowledge or common knowledge, then you based the rolls and maybe penalties and bonuses based on that. That'd be fine. But
also remember, really old D&D allowed you to use player knowledge, like a lot more than even I would like. It's like, all of a sudden you're using these weird, Vietnam era tactics, and it's like, wait a second here. Would anybody in the Middle Ages know that? It's like,
squad level tactics. Whenever you go into into a dungeon, CSI every room. I mean,
right?
It's kind of silly, but
at least it took a while then, and Crafty was spot on with what he said, that the worst thing was perception insight, because now it's just like, what do I see?
Right.
I don't know. Did you cast detect magic? Did the thief put his hands on every wall?
Right. So that is the skill thing. Yeah, I get that. You say I roll a check, and what happens as a result of it, instead of going and doing stuff. However, my counter to that is, should we as players approach every doorknob, and every time we see a doorknob, okay, I go up to the doorknob, I look at it. What does it look like? I blow on it. I put a string around it and describe every interaction with everything.
I think
that gets a bit tedious.
No, but so for me, it's about the passage of time. A dungeon crawl shouldn't be a 1-hour trek.
Correct.
So what I would do is like, okay, guys, what are you doing? Have them do it on the important rooms. Have them do it, remind me on occasion that they're still doing it. But yeah, if we did that for every room, I 100% agree with you. But at least have it there, so it's like, okay, you guys are taking the next 20 minutes to look at this door. And then if I decide something is going on, like a random encounter, or maybe have something on a timer, the chimes, boom, again, something while they're doing that, just something so that they understand that they're taking time. So for the characters, like, oh, it's lunchtime already. We only went through 2 rooms, right?
You guys are going through CSI of every damn room, and
which they may need to do, Bruce. I mean, to be honest, I've played with some asshole DMs. I shouldn't call them that. Some DMs who love their traps.
Right.
See, I would much rather just like a simple die roll, and if they get a mediocre result, they get a mediocre result. I mean, you guys search 5 rooms into the wizard's lab, and the last 2 rooms, you find yourself a stack of parchments and some ink quills, and you find.
But it still takes the character's time. I don't want to waste the player's time, but for the characters, that still takes 3 hours.
Sure.
And let them know it took you 3 hours.
Yeah.
Even though you roll a 12 on a fucking die and a total of in 5th ed, it might be only +6. So, an 18, but in Pathfinder, like it might be like a 24-year-old, and you rolled a 24, and aside from all the parchments and binding items, you also found his recipe book and a half-filled can of chocolate milk mix. And just like, let him have like nothing out of that, but
yeah.
Then all of a sudden, and as you guys are, you're looking back at the chocolate milk mix, you're over here doing this and set the figures up on the table in various places around the room. And that's when the fireball trap gets triggered and let everybody suffer. Now we have the initiative and the reflex save and all that stuff.
But I was looking for traps. Dude, did you see that roll that you made? It didn't beat the 25. You only got a 24.
You suck. You're supposed to roll higher.
Yep. Yeah, no, so Crafty, and I know he knows this. That's the Free League way. The Free League way says this. You don't roll to find secret doors. If the character looks behind, say, like my wall where I've got my little bit of sound deadening padding up there. If a character goes in and says, hey, I'm checking on what's behind that, I'm moving the painting to see if the safe is behind it, you find the safe. I agree with that 100%. Where I do think that the roles become important is one, if you just don't describe the room correctly. Or you see it one way, because to be honest, I do a lot of theater of the mind, so I do the descriptions, but sometimes people tune out. No, I don't have 7-page descriptions, but it's just human nature. Some people tune out of that. Some people hear what they want to hear. They get stuck on he said red. What does that mean? Talk about the rest. And this is where I'm okay with the Mother May I things, where a character may ask more description on something and so forth, as long as it doesn't get too deep. But that's when I think the roles come in. Not, or if something's just obviously like this is so magically hidden, even if they look there's an illusion covering it. Maybe then, but still, I agree with I'm in the Free League mode where it's like if the characters look there, if I move the big sheet metal that's covering this hole in the wall, I shouldn't have to roll to say, oh.
Right. That is true. Now, since we're talking about skills. One of the things that 3rd edition and later versions of the Wizard did for the Wizard was make them the font of all knowledge. So
that moved to the Rogue.
Well, they get a lot of skills, but the Wizard is pretty much the king of knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And
even over the Bard's Legend lore?
The Bard has a little bit of an edge, but but I think the Bard came more into its own under Pathfinder than edition.
I got
as
you.
far as that goes. But yeah, you got a lot of skills. You got a lot of opportunity to have high skill numbers in a lot of different fields of study. And the numbers got so ridiculously high, and it didn't take all that long in the game. By mid levels, there's not a knowledge check you couldn't fail. So,
I'm a little wizard, and I roll typically between 27 and 32 on my DC spells, or on my DCs for arcane knowledge and shit.
Right. So you'd be able to figure out all the secrets about the monsters all the time, and then as long as you have a few minutes to prepare, you could look in the keyhole. Oh, there's a blah, blah, blah monster, make your knowledge check. Okay, this is what we need to do to defeat it, or some other combination of that. And I think that's I understand knowledge that the wizard, even the name wizard or mage, implies someone of learning, and that's fine. But I think third edition and later, I'm not sure how fifth edition compares to this, but definitely third edition.
But it sounds so artificial. When you're saying it, it makes sense, but it sounds artificial. Like, wizard, you will be the font of knowledge. Well, what if a wizard only knows magic? Look, I lived in a cloistered school. We all wore school uniforms. The only thing I know how to do is throw around some fireballs on, and I can explain the anatomy of a dragon to you, because, we learn weird stuff like this. But as far as what's across the street, I have no clue. They look like bullies. I stayed away from them.
Right. And there's plenty of room for that. I think in third edition, you could not take knowledge skills. You could do it, but most of your class skills were knowledge. And if you took stuff outside of that,
it's just weird, because I just don't think that skills are needed to,
now it's
to identify that.
Yeah, I think the better way to do it is honestly one of the more newer games where they have a background. And instead of having skill points or ranks or anything like that, because you belong to a class, that class implies certain areas of knowledge, and your background implies certain skill or certain capabilities. So if you're an outdoorsman and that's your background, then you're better at surviving outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you are.
I wrote, so in the game that I'm writing for me, which I haven't touched in a couple of months now, my actual game, I kind of wrote that into it, where it's like, if your character's a knight, I don't have a skill list like that.
No.
Your character knows knightly stuff. So if the game master says, no, you don't understand heraldry, the game master's wrong, because that's something a knight would know. Now, would a warrior know that? Maybe. Right. If that warrior's a former soldier, or the warrior gets around. I mean, mercenaries probably would, because they want to know who's going to pay them, so they want to know whose banner, is the best one. So anybody could know that. Would a thief? Probably not. Why would a thief care? Unless it's some sort of scout. But I specifically mentioned the knight in there because a lot of people forget that the knight might actually not know as much about weapons as a pure gladiator warrior, because a gladiator warrior is using all these different types. The knight is just using the sword, but the knight is going to understand land management, is going to understand heraldry, understand how to collect and deal with taxes, and even some civic law duties and so forth.
Right. So I think that should be under the purview of the DM.
Yes.
Because then they could be more like world building. So wizards in this game have a certain set of capabilities. They're
like for example, using your wizard, an elementalist. Yeah. An elementalist probably knows all about undines and salamanders and sylphs and so forth. Like, I can probably talk from
an academic point of view.
Right, exactly. At least from an academic point of view, you can probably talk all about, well, it should be here, and it's supposed to be able to do this thing, and that thing's gross, don't let it touch you there, whatever.
Right.
Where maybe an enchanter isn't going to know that, but an enchanter can be like, did you look into his eyes? Doesn't seem like he's all there.
Right.
Like, becomes more of a psychologist. Yeah.
Right. That would be a better way to do it, I think.
I'm hearing from Max, like, just play Castles and Crusades, because a knight would definitely know this. So a 12 or higher result on your modifiers and tally for your D20 roll will tell you what you need to know about nobility. But because the knight doesn't know so much about various weapons, whenever examining weapons, well, you better
be an 18 or higher.
18 or higher. The Siege Engine is wonderful for its simplicity, and I always tell people, like, if you want a game that you can do storytelling, but you can do some hard and fast mechanics with it, don't look too far away from Castles and Crusades.
I like the system. Generally speaking, I like it. Now, to be fair, full disclosure, I have not actually played it outside of rolling some dice on top of my desk here. I haven't actually been in a campaign of it, but I like the sound of it. And if I were to ever put together a group and that group was playing or wanted me to run it, I would definitely try.
Right. I think the wizard as written in the early game fits better into a group. I think
yes. Oh, absolutely.
and probably all the classes are more designed from the point of view of solo. Not necessarily because the game is played that way, but they certainly
everybody needs to be able to survive.
Right. But and I don't know if it's intentional from the early game, how intentional that was, because
well, apparently Gygax hated wizards.
Apparently, but yeah, I don't know how much because we often talk about how the classes fit together to have a team, and I don't know how intentional that was, or if that was an accident of them innovating the game. It's hard to
maybe it's just because I've been playing it, for 40 years. I don't look at it that deeply because, when it comes to game design, D&D is not the game I'd model my game after.
Correct. It innovated, but I don't know how much intentional design there was to it.
But there's still something to say about that D&D style game with armor class, with wizards that die, from 1 hit point of damage, with descending armor class, with saving throws that sometimes what's a rod staff and a wand have to do anything different than a spell? Whatever. Okay. With a lot of that weirdness, but that's what, oh my God, made it what it is. But
it's quirky.
It's quirky. But by God, that's where you get your feel. You get your feel from the quirkiness. And the thing is, you make it work. So you've got that wizard that only has 1 hit point. You're right. It's a group character. Even if you play a summoner, even if you do that 2nd edition specialty class of a summoner where I get an extra spell and I'm summoning an animal, that animal isn't around long and it's usually killed pretty quickly. It's not. It's about as strong as me. So now you have 2 me's out there. Yay, mirror image. But isn't that what you want out of an adventuring game? I mean, if you want to play, I'm not saying this towards you, Joe. I'm saying this just generally out there. Like, if you're trying to make a solo character that can do everything, why are you playing in the group?
Right.
And I know players like that who, look, I can cast spells better than the wizard. I can swing a sword better than the fighter. I can steal things better than the thief because I min-maxed everything. You all noobs don't know how to play.
Right.
It's like, wow. Go play your solo game. We're going to go play and have fun.
Right. I think
fit a purpose. Know your fucking role. Sorry, know your role.
I'm not offended by your cussing.
Oh, I didn't know if I was allowed to cuss on your channel. Okay.
Oh, we don't want to offend Twitch and their sensitivities.
I don't care.
I like that, Joe. We should hang out more often. I apologize.
It's that old concept of zero to hero and hero to superhero. Like, I believe in the zero to hero complex. Now, I know some people don't even like those terms. Like, oh my God, get over it, people. But that's how I like. Now, let me use an example. Shauner Films, if you've watched any of his stuff, he had some things to say about us. I actually like Shauner. But one of the things that he doesn't seem to like, if I'm understanding correctly, the zero to hero concept. He just wants you to be a character, and you role play and you do things. So you can have the old Obi-Wan Kenobi, the middle-aged Han Solo, and the young, and this is how 28mm described as well, and the young Luke Skywalker all together in the same group doing something, and then the damsel in distress as well. But with her, her forcefulness. I see nothing wrong with that. If you want to play a game like that where you're just playing some characters, you don't have to worry about advancement too much. Your advancement is collecting money, building your ship, and so forth. I'm all for that. And I could play in a game like that over long term. But when I'm talking Dungeons and Dragons or games like Dungeons and Dragons, I want the zero to hero. I want to start as off the farm. I want to start as I've got a pitchfork and some overalls. It does a D4 damage. I'm clumsy with it. Whatever. I've got a pitchfork and overalls. And then all of a sudden, you know what? People are dying. The village is burned down. I had to run away from the orc horde that came in, or whatever happens to be, undead horde, or the evil guy from across the road who doesn't like my city anymore. And then I found this chain shirt, and that's all I've got. My armor class increases by 1. Oh, look, I found a short sword instead of my pitchfork. Slowly but surely, I'm getting more. I'm building up, but it's a struggle. The struggle becomes easier in some regards. Because, by the time you're 5th, 6th level, you're gaining tens of thousands of gold, not, 3 copper. Luke was definitely off the farm. They kind of cheated, though, having, Skywalker blood. But he was off the farm, yes. but you see what I'm saying? You have that growth, and I don't want to start off as a character that's already 10th level in a first level body. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I don't understand why that's fun. It's fun for the storytellers, and I'm not using that as derogatorily as some people, but for the storyteller gamers. But it's like they're trying to jam a storytelling game into a role playing game, and that's where I agree with the OSR people or the it's a role playing game, not a storytelling game people, because I do think that they've taken it too far. Tell your stories. I'm all about it. You should be telling stories. Tell the stories of the adventures that you've had at the table there. Absolutely. Anybody who says otherwise is wrong. But don't jam the storytelling game concept into a construct that's not meant for that. Because then you get D&D 5e, but everybody loves it. Proof's in the pudding. It sells better. I think there's more to it than just the fact that that it's a hero to superhero game.
Doesn't mean it's a better game. It just means it's a. I mean, I guess
lowest common denominator. Look, World of Warcraft was the most popular, shittiest MMO ever made. Yeah, I say that. If you still play World of Warcraft, you're wasting your money. Actually, if you played World of Warcraft 10 years ago, you're wasting your money. Crap game. I wasted my money too.
A lot of movies are produced for the lowest common denominator as well, and that's why I don't like a lot of modern movies. Sometimes
that can be fun, though. The one that came out recently with Chris Pratt that everybody hated because it had that time travel.
It was. Okay.
I loved it. Because such an homage to the 80s. To me, it really felt 80s, and that's why I like it. You think those movies in the 80s were good?
No.
I crap on them all the time.
Right, but that's what makes them fun.
There's a fellow on another Discord who really loves like B movies and stuff like that, and that's a garbage movie, and I think it actually ticks him off. There's so many sword and sorcerer movies from the late 70s, early 80s that were garbage.
And people like them. Some of them I can't. What's that?
Hawk the Slayer.
I saw it one time, and so many of those I will not go back to and watch again.
I have Hawk the Slayer both in DVD format and on Rift Tracks.
Rift Tracks would be fine.
Rift Tracks is great. And I also have Sword and the Sorcerer.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful. That's the three-bladed sword, right?
Yes. And the guy from Murphy Brown on there.
The problem is it's hard to make a movie like that because you need a budget for it, and nobody's going to give you a budget for that. If you look at like Lord of the Rings or the Marvel Cinematic Universe and so forth, but I mean different genre, but aren't they apparently making another Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Yeah.
First of all, yawn. It's going to be based on 5th edition, but
it's
Matt, you had Jeremy Irons in that first one, and you fucked it up with some dude with blue lipstick. Come on, and one of the Wayans brother. But that was a shitty character. That was stupid as hell.
Yeah.
Like when you go over the top with blue lipstick man, and then you put in a Wayans brother in there, it's a bad movie.
Yeah, can the Wayans be in a serious movie? I don't think so. What would you say, Bruce?
I agree with Crafty. Dragon Slayer is a great movie. Fight me. I agree.
Dragon Slayer. Is that the one with what's his name? Oh my God. Oh, I think Sean Connery.
That's Dragon
Heart.
Okay.
Dragon Slayer was decent.
I don't remember Dragon Slayer then.
Dragon Slayer, it was in the very beginning, a wizard lets himself get killed so that he could then be transported to a dragon and face him, mono-y dragano, essentially.
Why can't we have a good movie where a wizard uses a phylactery, not a soul cage, and becomes a lich?
Well, then that would be the bad guy.
Yeah, good.
Where they use a soul cage or phylactery. Yes, indeed.
Soul cage.
Soul cage sounds like a metal band.
Crawl. That I want to like that so much. There's some good scenes, and then there's some really bad scenes.
Crawl is the one with the dude from Night Court, right?
Yes, Richard Mole.
No. Richard Mole's not in
Really?
Crawl. No. He was in Sword and Sorcerer, though.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson was in Crawl.
Correct.
Have I not seen that one? I don't remember that one at all.
That's the one with the glaive, the little 5-pointed star throwy thing that got stuck in the bad guy and lost forever.
Part of me says I've seen it. Part of me doesn't remember. I don't know.
It had some good things
but
about it.
that's the point. I have a hard time going back to them because they're so campy that I'm like, oh.
Right.
At least with action movies, there's something going.
Right. So back to Wizard.
Oh yeah, we had a topic.
Sorry.
So wizards in movies, we haven't had great ones until Lord of the Rings. I don't think. I guess you could say Willow, which was okay. There was some magic use in that. I can't think of too much more than that. Everything else was crap, like Wizards of the Lost Kingdom.
Every time I'm like, no, but this one, it's always a book that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh no, there were some awesome wizards. Star Wars.
Okay, well, yes, wizards with swords.
Space wizards, come on.
Space wizards with swords. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Who's it? The Emperor. He was more wizardy than he was swordy.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've been a fan of the Emperor since Return of the Jedi in '83. Like everybody's like, oh, Darth Vader's so awesome, or Luke is a good guy. I like Han. Man, y'all, screw y'all. I'm gonna lightning bolt all your asses.
Yeah. Castle spaceship.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I do remember that one now.
It is a Gonzo D&D film.
Yeah.
Actually, there were a few people from that movie that was in the Dune movie not long after that. The lady who played the Spider Lady was in it, and the mentor guy. Yep, they were both in it. Useless.
The mentor from Kroll play Thufir Halleck.
Thufir, yeah.
You know what my second one's? I'm still trying to think of wizards, like where good wizards were done, and I am no fan of this genre at all. But I had Doctor Strange.
Okay, so Doctor Strange, the most recent Doctor Strange.
But my point being is, like, I've mentioned what's supposed to technically be a sci-fi movie, even though it's science fantasy, and I've mentioned a superhero movie. Mm-hmm. Somebody make a good. I mean, they screwed up Shannara. They screwed up Dungeons and Dragons movies. I hear they're screwing up the Robert Jordan novels.
What else are they going to do?
Oh, they definitely screwed up the Terry Goodkind novels, and I don't care if Terry liked them or not. Legend of the Seeker was crap. You know what show I did like? And I'm gonna have to look it up because I'm not gonna remember the name of it. It's the
Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice on YouTube. That's on YouTube. Fire and Ice. You can look that up on YouTube and watch it. It is not unwatchable, but it is a bad fantasy movie because of pacing issues.
Is it comparable to Wizards?
It's better than Wizards in animation. Wizards has a much better story. And it has Mark Hamill. This does not have Mark Hamill. Wizards
has Mark Hamill.
Well, it's not a rotoscoping nightmare. They've got some really good animation in it. And it looks like it came out of Filmation when they had a really good budget. But
I've never heard of rotoscoping.
It's the old way we used to do animation. We would have a series of motion or of pictures, people doing stuff, and then we would lay the photo down, and we'd have a sheet lay on top of it, and the animator would draw the person through the bleed of the.
That's how lightsabers were done too.
And so he'd just do that with a bunch of photos, and you would have a picture of a guy walking.
Wait, is that how Bakshi did, like, the Lord of the Rings and all that?
I want to say that.
Was that rotoscoping? Huh?
Yeah.
Among other weird animation techniques, there were other things that he did, and not in all of them, but I can't remember which one. Where it was like they filmed some live action and then they overlaid animation over the top of it somehow. It seemed like it was weird.
Rotoscoping was used by Filmation in the 80s really heavily on the Flash Gordon cartoon, if you remember that.
The cartoon?
Yeah.
I remember the movie. I'm trying to remember the cartoon.
It was actually a really good cartoon, but the first season did not match up well with the second season.
Flash Gordon.
Oh.
I don't remember that one.
I can't think of the name of the stupid TV show, but it was on about 10 years ago, around the same time that Legends of Seeker was on, and it basically made fun of the entire genre. I thought that was funny, and I can't think of the damn name of it.
I have to. If you
I'm trying to look it up, but I don't even know what to look for.
Right.
It's one of those names that also it's a spoof title, so it's like 75 words long.
Did any of you see Merlin?
Which version?
What was that? 2003 or 2006?
Yeah,
the
they had one in
recent-
the 80s. They had one in the early 2000s, and didn't they have one just a couple years ago?
A couple of years ago is the one I'm talking about. Well, okay. So I'm trying to remember the actor's name. He was in a lot of movies. Hunt for Red October, he played the second in command, Vasily.
Tim Curry. Tim Curry.
No. He played second in command. Tim Curry played the
He played the XO that got his neck snapped.
right, but
Not Sam Neill.
Sam Neill played
That was the 2003 one, wasn't it?
well, there was like 2 movies or something like that, 2 or 3 movies. That was okay. There wasn't a whole lot of like magic-y stuff, but there was some. Sam Neill, right. But there was also the more recent, I don't know if it was HBO or one of the regular TV channels it was called Merlin, and it was about, of course, the whole King Arthur thing. It had Guinevere was black. But I never saw it. So
I'm still one of those guys, even though by today's standards it's slow as all get out. I like the original Excalibur.
yes.
That dude who played Merlin in there, his voice. And he was also in the Spawn movie too, and I was all excited about it, and he had like 2 lines.
Yeah, not as good.
I think back on the Sorcerer Supreme, the magic rules in the MCU movies were really well done, because in the final battles of Infinity War, you get to see just how magic is not going to do well with an opponent that has a lot of hit points. Like, you see all the illusions pop up with Doctor Strange, and he thinks he's got Thanos beat by trapping him with the illusions. Thanos does 1 single point of damage with an AoE, and all the other illusions fade, and he's left. And I think that final battle between Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Thanos, I think that's probably the best version of watching an actual, this is how heroes with magic would fight. And you could port that to a game or say, somebody that knows gaming rules wrote this and choreographed this entire fight scene. Because they used all these conventions from D&D, and I've watched that like 6 or 7 times. And I can see various things where like this spell effect here, or this spell school right here, or this right here worked. But this, Thanos, he's a fucking Titan. And that's why he won.
Oh, sure. He's not just a big tough guy.
No, he's got his own powers and tricks.
Right.
I don't know all the stuff that he can do. I didn't read the comics as much as I should have, but he was a certifiable badass. And Sorcerer Supreme is really talented. He's probably an easy 9th or 10th level caster, but he's not that good compared to him. Not solo. Yeah,
I have a problem with Beastmaster.
Oh?
Yeah, all I see when I see Beastmaster is V.
When someone says Beastmaster, I think of those flying creatures that digest their food on the outside of their bodies, essentially. They wrap them in their wings and then...
What's the actor's name? Oh, Mark Singer. Singer. I whenever I see, I'm like, oh, hey, it's V. I love the original miniseries. Actually, I like the new one that they came out with like 5 years ago too, but they did it weird too.
Lady Hawk for the win.
Lady Hawk was a good one. I vaguely remember that one. The other one I liked was that Tom Cruise one.
Legend.
I grudgingly admit that because Tom Cruise still owes me an incentive flight.
I do not like never liked Legend. I didn't like that one or the other one.
To be fair, I don't know if I watched it today, if I still would, but I just remember that was one of those that I did like. But it was I don't know. I just don't go back and watch any of them because they're all, to be fair, they're all bad.
Yeah.
Well, you got
lot
spoiled
of
by
them
Lord of the Rings because it was about as
Yeah.
night and day from all the stuff we had in 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
Even up to the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was 2 months released or 1 month before LOTR. You had all these crappy fantasy films come out, and then Peter Jackson comes out with his magnum opus.
It's like, hold my beer.
Yeah. And you'll never go back to Kroll. You'll never watch Lady Hawk for fun. You'll never go back to Hawk the Slayer. All these movies they had a lot of heart, but they had no budget and they weren't taken very seriously.
If they're gonna do all these damn reboots, like go back and start rebooting some of those fantasy ones, especially with the popularity of D&D. But here's the problem: if they do that, you know what it's going to turn into.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Everything's going to be something swapped. Yep.
Oh yeah. It'll be all representative, and that's the thing that they're doing wrong with Wheel of Time. Is they're putting all the women out front in all of the advertising. Which, I get it, sex sells.
Well, if it's advertising, yeah. Okay.
But the story is about the dude, Rand. It's about him. And he's like kind of in the background when they show the cast. He's kind of, way in the background. It's kind of dumb.
But does he take the limelight in the show?
Yeah, I don't know about the show. I just saw the previews and I'm like, oh, this is flashy and everything, but
it's weird because if you take a TV series like The Expanse and you put representation in there and try to find all your diverse casts and so on and so forth, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. It's like when if you got some sort of weirdos, in a cyberpunkish type setting, doesn't bother me at all because it fits the setting. I really hate it when it's ham-fisted into. Let's say they were to do a Dragonlance movie, actually make a movie on Dragonlance, and they freaking swapped all the characters around. Now, Raceland it's like they did with the hell's Lost in Space. Let's just make the main bad guy Dr. Smith and make it a chick. And all of a sudden, like the heroes of the Lance are now like Where did an Asian come into the Heroes of the Lance? Because as far as I know, there are no Asians.
Yeah, and for Lost in Space, Dr. Smith, I think that they said, there's not enough female representation. Really? There's the mom and the two sisters. I mean, half of the cast is female already.
To be fair, it didn't actually bother me that much. Not as much as other things would have. That they gender swapped Dr. Smith. I just didn't like the portrayal of Dr. Smith. Like he was like even though it was 60s and the over the top acting is one thing. You still felt like there was a sniveling deviousness in there. I feel that this chick is just a bitch. That's it. And then of course you have the daughter. The one daughter it's got to be race swapped too, because you know what?
Didn't they say she was adopted or something like that?
Yeah. Again, not a bad actress. It's just come on, stick to the script.
Right.
Make your own stuff. That's why I like things like you could take like a Stargate show and you could do whatever you want with it because the SG-1 team can change. Number one, and number two, you could just say you're SG-7 and SG-7 is all full of Chinese and Russians. Who cares? Right. Something like Battlestar Galactica. Now, I didn't like that they gender swapped. They gender swapped a couple of my favorite characters, or they race swapped my favorite character from a black guy to a white guy with Colonel Ty. The hell, Colonel Ty in Battlestar Galactica is actually one of my favorite characters of all time. The original Battlestar Galactica of all time. And as hot as Grace Park is, Boomer should have been a black guy.
Yep.
I don't like. I don't like when they do stuff like just make your own IP, or instead of Battlestar Galactica, make it the Battlestar Pegasus that got away, or make it the Battlestar Biggest Geekus.
Might as well.
Right?
I mean, what they're doing is they're taking nostalgia for the IP and hijacking your nostalgia once you watch
and say, it's not for you.
Not for you.
Well, but look at the new Ghostbusters movie. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently the new Ghostbusters movie is pissing everybody off because it's doing well. And even the old actors who were part of, were like, hey, this one's actually pretty good. And they're just completely disavowing the 2016 one.
As they should.
Well, hopefully we get more of that. Hopefully people realize, and to kind of go back on track, we totally lost that. But if somebody could make a great look, I would even accept a good Forgotten Realms as long as it included things like the Red Wizards of Thay. Hell, I would like to see the Time of Troubles, that series, done as a movie, and I think it could be done as a pretty interesting movie, as long as the characters weren't cartoonish, as long as they were as serious as you'd find in Lord of the Rings, or as you would find in Game of Thrones, lack of a better term. But you get what I'm saying.
And I'm getting ready to piss Max off because I'm going to bring up. I don't think he liked this.
Ha! You froze.
This IP very much. Yeah, I froze. Harry Potter. So whether you like the story or not, at least it presented magic users in they did it well for what it was. The effects were good. And as the story progressed, it got more serious. And when you had Dumbledore face off, what's the bad guy's name?
Look, when your name's Dumbledore, I can't take your movie seriously.
Yeah, I know. Voldemort. Yeah. That was a really cool battle scene on film. Now, the rest of it you can have your quibbles with, but at least I think they had the look down pretty good.
One of the things that my actually Heathen Dog told me, he told me years ago that I should read the series. I'm like, nah, no. But he said, because I don't typically like stories about kids. Ender's Game is like the only exception to that, and that's because it's literally about an entire society of Wesley Crushers. But
better.
Well, yeah, but better. But no, I call it the Wesley Crusher syndrome, where it's like, oh, look, the 15-year-old kid is solving everything. Well, golly gee. But what he told me is that at least in what's that Hogwarts shit called again? Harry Potter. That the books grow with the characters. So like the first book is written kind of childish, but by the end of the series, they're written adultish. I'm like, okay, that's fair.
Right. Well, I think she got better as a writer over time, whether it's geared toward adults or not. I think she just got better as a writer. But I had a thought and it's gone now.
Yes, I'm not the only one.
Well, the Harry Potter books were written to where you could start reading to them at the age of 8. You could read to an 8-year-old
grow with the characters.
Novel. And
right.
As the kid got older and every book successfully was released, you were dealing with more and more adult things. And if your kid and you don't talk about the life in general between books, you're a really shitty parent. But I would imagine most parents had a lot of conversations with their kids spurred on by the events in the book and by the situations that happened. And there was a lot of things that like young kids wouldn't know much about, but they could identify with, because you always have a crush on a classmate. When you're growing up, you have a crush on the girl about 2 blocks down from you. You understand that. And so you have these opportunities to open up as you're reading to these kids over the course of time. So in all actuality, I think probably Harry Potter series is better than Narnia and better than Lord of the Rings, just for the fact that if you read them to a child, they open up a lot of conversations to help that child gain some footing on how to discuss things. And it opens up critical thinking more than what normally is available. Most kids don't ever critically think nowadays. Says a Tiercy, listen, Lord of the Rings, Narnia, amazing books, great books, and everybody should read them. But
I don't know. I was Christian and I didn't find the Narnia books interesting. But it's one of the only things we were allowed to read.
I think as an adult, you want to read the Harry Potter books to a kid. You don't want to let them read it. You want to read it to them. That way
fair.
You experience that together. That'll be your introduction to actually having table time with a kid. And whenever it's time to run them on their first dungeon crawl, that it's not going to be too far-fetched. It's going to be a lot easier for you as a parent and a lot easier for your child.
Screw that. You start those kids off right. You just jump them right into Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no shit. Game of Thrones, you're fucking your sister.
I was going to say Black Company, but okay.
I got two things. One, I finally found the TV show. It was called Crodman Dune and the Flaming Sword of Fire.
Sword of Fire, fuck yes.
There you go.
I seem to remember that. Was it a series or just
it was a series? It was a parody, yeah.
Series.
And the other one that I want to say is Crafty said he doesn't like any of the new books. Man, read the Brandon Sanderson series, the Stormlight Archive. Absolutely phenomenal.
Read Night Angel trilogy by Brandon Weeks.
I can't say enough good things about Stormlight Archive. And the books are over 1,000 pages each. That's how you write a book.
Crodman Dune.
Yeah, I was so pissed when it got canceled too, because it was like the only thing, because Legend of the Seeker wasn't supposed to be a parody, but it was the most god awful crap.
Okay, so Legend of the Seeker, I watched it. I didn't get too far into it. I just saw that he was like way shorter than the girl. I'm like, that's not good. No good.
Turn it off. Had nothing to do with the books, and it was a comedy, and even Terry Goodkind, he defended it tooth and nail, though. He's like, if you want the stories from the books, then read the books. I'm like, well, can we at least have side stories that, the things that didn't happen in the books that actually makes me think that Richard Rahl is is somebody I want to pay attention to? This is just garbage.
Yeah. Well, didn't Stephen King say the same thing? If you want the story from the books, read the books.
Okay, I will, and I won't watch your movies. But then again, Stephen King is an asshole, so I don't read his books or watch his movies.
Yeah, no longer support that douchebag.
Yeah, I can't stand King nowadays. I used to love his stuff when I was a kid.
See, I didn't get into it. Like, I didn't get into pretty much anything. Did he do Pet Sematary?
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Okay, then that was the one thing I liked.
Dark Zone?
Nope.
Or Dead Zone?
The Dead Zone was great.
Was it the Stand? Not the Stand. What's the one that's also the sci-fi or the fantasy thing?
The
Dark Tower.
No.
Dark Tower. Yeah, I got about 50 pages into it, and I threw the book down, never picked it back up again.
The Dark Tower series, part 1 sucks. Part 2 is great, and you can go from book 2 all the way to the end, and you don't miss much, because at the start of every book they give you a 5 or 6 page argument to tell you what's going on about it.
Oathbringer. I got to be honest. So Oathbringer is the second. Oh no, that's the third one. You're farther than me. Even though I have all 4 books, I've only read 1.5 of them. What happened was I read the first book and then I had to wait for the second one. I got pissed. So I had to read the first book again when I got the second one. I got halfway through it and I was just speeding through it. I didn't have the third one. So I was like, screw this. I'm not going to read this stuff. And I never went back to it because my move from Germany and all the other stuff that happened in my life, I haven't gone back to reading it. But I have all 4 of them, including Rhythm of War, sitting back there. And they're all hardcover, big ass. So good on you. Don't spoil it. But I really like, and the thing is I'm not going to say that every character in the book is really freaking amazing and awesome, but man, he can make you feel the pain of the bridge burners or bridge runners, whatever they're called. He can make you, he gives the essence of these dumb little tropes. And I think I've talked to you guys about them before, about how they do it by eye color instead of hair, skin color. And they, the prudishness isn't a bra, but it's a glove, things like that. Really, it just how he puts all that together, and it feels viable, doesn't feel forced. And then how the story just kind of grows from there. Like the entire thing of trying to figure out these artifacts. So. Oh, it has twists. Damn it. I've got the first one on audiobook too, thinking that would help. And then I stopped listening to audiobooks. I've got to get that get Audible back in my car.
I was never a fan of Moorcock.
I never read them, but I played the game Stormbringer, the actual Chaosium RPG, and it made me want to read Moorcock, especially since my friends liked him, but I never read him either.
Yeah, I read it. I just didn't. After reading it, I was like, it's not that great.
Moorcock's characters never really did like any superb thinking. They always used brawn over brains, it felt like.
What way it was explained to me is that Moorcock was like the first author to consistently make dark characters more gray instead of black. Like he could take evil and show you how evil actually has its redeemable quality. I don't know how true it is. Fair.
No, because I think there were some really good I think some good characters in Moorcock's stories. They just all got killed.
I liked Saberhagen better than Moorcock.
I don't know that I've read any of his.
The Book of Swords.
Oh, you know what? I was looking for that a long time ago, and then I forgot all about it. I need to look for that. I need to get that.
You read that, and if you've ever played Hackmaster 4th or 5th Ed, you're going to immediately drop all those swords in your campaign world. That's all I'm going to say. Like, the first one they find is Town Saber, and you're going to watch the players just have fun, and one of them is going to be hacking away the bad guys. Yeah, you get hit, but you don't really feel it. And about 7 minutes of this heroic fray is going on, and then, like, the fight ends and your players are victorious. Bob, the swordsman, stands there triumphantly with Town Slayer, and then Bob falls into about 17 or 20 different pieces, and Town Slayer clatters on the cobblestones. It's purpose fulfilled. It's great. It's the greatest thing. And you watch your players be like, what? And I'm like, I was tracking your hit points. You're about negative 100, negative 130.
You know, I've listened to a lot of pulp, like pulp fantasy, science fiction on audio, and it's definitely a different animal. A lot of the like 30s and 40s and 50s pulp was released serialized in various magazines and things like that before they were published as novels. So they have a different feel because each one of those serialized bits had to have a ending. So it's definitely, if you can get a hold of some, you can get a lot of it on LibriVox. It's an app for your phone. I think you can put it on your computer too. It's a website, and you can listen to a lot of public domain stuff, and a lot of the old pulp stuff is in public domain. You can just, the readers aren't always all that great, but it's interesting to hear the differences between real early sci-fi and fantasy, and even just Tolkien era.
Yeah. One of the things I was so disappointed. Again, repeating myself a lot here, but the game Cosmic Patrol, I so wanted to play and love that game. Unfortunately, it's an improv game. It's like a true improv game where everybody's a game master, blah, blah, blah. But I want to take that. It had the right art, had the right idea, had the right mission. Like the missions you go on, they're written correctly. I want to somehow put that into a setting or at some point, because it's at the rounded laser guns that look like phalluses, but then it's got like the 3 rings before the laser goes pew pew pew, that kind of stuff. It's got it's just got that complete, everybody's wearing these kind of spandex or velour suits and big bubble heads. It's just got that entire feel of like 1940s science fiction, and maybe I'll do that with the game I'm writing right now.
Buster Crabbe should be starring in this sort of thing, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. I want to talk about Wizards real quick. You guys,
that's what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, well, Randy and Joe talked about the Magister from Arcana Evolved, which is probably one of the smartest written wizard characters in fantasy. And you've got a bunch of new ideas. You have a bunch of ideas that were not new, but they'd not been put in properly in a D20 system before. And this is probably Monty Cook's best writing, I thought.
Yeah.
Did you find it easy to put that into your games and to have your players enjoy it the way you thought they would?
Well, considering it was Randy putting it into his game and me getting to play it, I definitely enjoyed it. I think on some levels, the other players, they kind of, I think they were a little bit put off because the Magister doesn't have the punch that a wizard does of equal level as far as damaging spells, unless you take feats for what are they called?
The signature spells,
or were they exotic?
yes,
Exotic spells. So fireball, it was an exotic spell. It was a way to control the magister from being too powerful, I guess. But the magister covered all the magic bases, and magic was magic in that game, and there was no difference between divine and arcane or anything like that.
no,
And the magister had access to all different kinds, so they could heal, but healing was a little different. They could do damage. And summoning creatures was a little different because you didn't summon an actual living creature. It was a energy construct that looked like a creature, kind of. So you didn't have to worry about, where did this thing come from? Am I just summoning some living creature to its death? It was just an energy construct, which is fine. But no, we enjoyed it a lot, and I think it's basically the wizard, the cleric, and the sorcerer took all the best features of all them and mishmashed it all into one thing. So
yeah.
as a quick way to describe it.
I've been looking at that a lot, and I'm thinking I like it a lot, but you have to change the entire spell list
Yes.
if you're going to use a magister. Because if you use a magister with like D20 or Player's Handbook 3-5 spells, or with Pathfinder spells or 4th Ed or whatever spell list you're using, if you bring in a magister, the magister becomes the focal point of the campaign, and you now, as a DM, if you have an adversarial relationship with that player, because you're not going to kill him.
No. You got to use the magister spells because, because they are weaker. Individually, they are weaker spells. So, because they have access to their spells, have access to all their spells essentially that they have in their spell books. They have to be weaker. You can't have the same power spells and be able to just cast them on the fly like that. So, right. I would love to be able to rejigger that without having feats as an option, so that the way a wizard was always designed in everything before 3rd edition, if there was any sort of way for the players to individualize their characters, it was in spell selection. So whatever spells you decided to focus on as a player, that's how you individualized your character. And I think that is the best way to design the wizard. And whatever weirdness that the character has, it should be within the spells themselves, not a bunch of class features.
Can value that. I can really value that.
Yeah. I mean, that leans into how D&D was originally designed, intentionally or no. But I think
it felt like that.
Yeah.
You got into Arcana Evolved. It looked like it felt like you had gotten into Monty's basement drink, and you got in there, and he had all of Gary's old boxes of notes of the evolution of the wizard and various classes and such. But Arcana Evolved felt like a throwback. Even though you were playing 3.5 or 3.0, it felt like a throwback to basic. With all the things and the conventions that are in that game system, it felt like you were actually discovering the world, the characters, and you were discovering a relationship between you and the others are at the table, but especially between you and the DM or judge or referee. That's how it felt like when we played it. We didn't play that game too long because there were people that felt it was too retro. And
which game is this?
Arcana Evolved.
Oh, okay.
They didn't want to play it because it felt like we were going backwards, and it wasn't. But you, as a DM, anything you introduce in that game, you're automatically having to classify it as to how are the players going to interact with this. Is this an exotic spell? Is this an exotic weapon? Is this a common item? Is this something that anybody can pick up and use? And you're automatically classifying things, and you're having to take notes as you're playing the game. That's the one thing about Arcana Evolved I found out from the start. It did mesh well with one other system called Iron Heroes. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. Yeah, I love that.
That sounds familiar.
Iron
Is
Heroes.
Is that like a steampunk game?
No.
Oh, then it isn't what I thought it was.
More Hyperborean.
Yes.
Okay.
You had about 10 or 12 different classes of martial characters, and you had to have like one character that he knew he was going to be doing the healing duties and the crafting duties and herbalism duties. And the other characters had their individual niches. You had Archer, you had Berserker, you had a Barbarian. There's a split between Barbarian and Berserker, if that lets you know. There's a dedicated class for the Skirmisher. Iron Heroes was great, but it was very different than what you have today.
I think I know why we're not getting a lot of viewers.
Why?
There's a couple other people streaming right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is OG or Bloodworth streaming?
Yeah.
Dick. I said that, Bloodworth.
I think he had it scheduled, but still.
Yeah. What can you do? I mean,
right. And let's be fair. Like with all of us, it's almost impossible to find a time that somebody isn't having toes stepped on.
True.
There was something else I was going to say, and I forget what it is. Oh, Joe, did you see that I posted on my Discord in a private chat for you, Heathen Dog, and Crafty? I don't know if people can see it because I'm getting no comments on it, and only you three should be able to see it right now.
On which one?
Gatekeepers?
If you go to my Discord, the Legion Myth Discord. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you can't see it, then I have to fix it. I made a private channel. And right now it's just you, Crafty, and Heathen Dog.
Okay, so where would it be listed under?
Under lifestyle.
Let's see here.
Lifestyle, arts and crafts, cooking and grilling, blah, blah, blah. If you go to, what does the bottom one say to you?
Proof playtest.
Okay, yeah, that one. You should be able to get in there.
Yes.
I just want to know that somebody can see it, so.
Yes. Well,
okay. That's all that matters.
Yeah, your last post kind of made me think you didn't need to see anything right away.
No. I just need to make sure that anybody could see it because I had stuff in there for about a week before I deleted it. And nobody said anything. It's like, can people even see it? Because it's private. I've never done a private channel before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually set up one not long ago, and of course, no action. So
that's cool. As long as you can see it, then I know it's working. And I'm sure at some point Crafty will tear up everything. And my plan is after you guys tear it up, I'm going to fix that little bit. And then I'm going to move forward with it. I'm so bored of typing right now. I'm on a month of leave. This actually started before I went on this leave. I finally got it to the point that it's in right now today. I'm taking a couple of days off. I'm going to stream some things. I'm going to work on some Legion Myth stuff. I went through 400 unread emails. And that isn't even counting Legion Myth. That's just, I responded to about 100 YouTube comments, and I'm still not even close to finishing this. Yeah, I've got things I'm supposed to be doing that game was taking time. So yes,
no
please.
wonder you haven't caught up on your podcast releases.
Oh, that's something I've got to. Yes, you're right. That's one of the things I wanted to do during this leave. Yep.
Yeah.
So I still have plenty of work to do, but now that I know that you can see it, okay. And then as soon as you guys tear it up, then I'll fix it, and then I'm going to bring some more people in to take a look at it. Good
deal. I'm not sure how useful my perspective will be, but I will lend it. So, is there anything else we want to say about Wizards? What would you, Bruce, have to add from Pathfinder land?
Well, we could either say what would I add from Pathfinder or what would I add to my own creation that could fit within the D20 Millennium. And the first thing I would go with is I don't really think I can add anything into Pathfinder. Pathfinder has written everything.
It's got too much already.
It's got so much. And I just
read what I mean is what are your words of wisdom from your vast Pathfinder experience? Not what you would add to Pathfinder. Because
with Pathfinder Wizards, a DM has to be very careful what he allows in the game. Like, I keep things relatively, and I fucked up in 2013 and 14 by allowing everything. And that really,
we all do it at least once.
yeah, and you'll get character class combinations and Lego player characters that you'll never experience that anywhere else than when you look at a bunch of Pathfinder accountants and you say, "Create me your monsters."
Did you say accountants?
Yes, I did. Because that's what they fucking are. I mean,
No, I agree. That's why I laugh. I like that.
I did that, and we were playing through Slumbering Tsar Saga, and it's a difficult campaign, but the player characters sailed through a lot of the boss encounters, but whenever they hit like regular wandering monsters or just bits of things that were part of the world, they would get hung up on things because they had characters that were super efficient at one thing. What I fucked up in Pathfinder is I allowed spells from different books and different third-party creators.
Oh, third parties here.
Yeah, if you ever read Deep Magic,
I knew about it, but I never got it.
It's got some nice spells in it, but treat every spell like it's one spell higher than in the core rulebook. So if it says it's an 8th level spell, it's really a 9th level spell. 9th level spells are not really good because you have Disintegrate Fireball, which is that's a great 4 set there, Max.
No, this will ruin your game. I'm actually putting this out here to agree with you, because if you allow the stuff of these books, great reference, but you can find a spell that's overpowered for every level in here that becomes a crutch.
Absolutely, don't do that. I was allowing the Deep Magic book in, and there's a 7th level spell that the wizard casts at bad guy, and every round it suffers like 4 or 7 die 8 damage. Wow. Yeah, Shadzar, I just read that in my Discord. I'll have to watch this in a bit. Jesus, dude.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, so you sent me that message, Shadzar. I didn't actually realize that he had Garibay on the show. Oh, that would. No wonder why nobody's here. Everybody's watching that. I'd be watching that too.
Yeah,
much more interesting.
I would rather ask for Cliff Notes because I don't want to ever give Garibay anything but like a pulping.
Well, he was on Bloodworth's show now, so I mean, you can at least that's how you can rationalize it if that's an issue.
I'll watch Bloodworth's show, but yeah, Deep Magic is one of those things you want to give the bad guys the Deep Magic spells. Never let the players have them because there's spell effects that happen. There's things that happen with these spells that would never happen at that same spell level from the core rulebook spells. It's amazing to look at, and they've got some great notes and narrative effects in the description. It goes one step beyond what the core rulebook does, so it actually feels like it's magic, but it is a level of intensity and power more than what you want to allow at the character level. So just keep that in mind. So that would be what I would note from Pathfinder. Now, if you understand how Pathfinder is, and you can pick and choose out of all the millennia of third-party stuff what you allow in your game, good for you. As a DM, you discovered what game balance fits your themes and fits your narratives, but you have a huge mountain of a task. And yeah, I know the book is for the bad guys. So is everything from Fraud God Games. I understand that. But you don't let the players have more than what's in the core rulebook. The core rulebook has got plenty of power for the players to tap at every level, and just run at a slow experience point drip, because the players are going to level up and raffle stomp. They're going to bludgeon everything in the bestiary. The only thing in the bestiary, if you want to have TPKs all the time with Pathfinder, I'll just say that there's a book called The Advanced Bestiary from Green Ronin Press. And Green Ronin Press wrote a book. Between 2 hardcovers, they have 100 character templates. And it suffers, your monster collection now has an exponential monster multiplier, because you can have, like, instead of a regular cockatrice, you have a dread Thanatotic cockatrice.
Is that something that they just have as a as a monster in there, or is it so ready to drink? Earthdawn has these things called masks in 4th edition, where essentially it just says, hey, if you have, let's just say, a chicken, and you want to give that chicken a gaze attack, turn into a cockatrice, it's now worth this much more. Oh,
Yes.
if you want to add on top of that gaze attack that it can now fly at class rating, I don't know what Pathfinder does, but class rating C, it's now worth this. You know, you can just keep adding what they call masks on top of that.
Yep. And the templates are like what masks are for drink.
Okay.
Earthdawn. And
For
so
drink.
you have 100 different masks for the campaign, and Bruce has 15 hardcovers and 22 softcover monster books.
What's the name of that book?
Advanced Bestiary
I might
by
have to get
Green
that.
Ronin Press.
Oh, Green Ronin.
Yeah, Green Ronin, those guys, as much as you guys might wince at that, they do provide, in their previous days, in the early Pathfinder, they had some good, solid releases. Now, don't look at their politics and don't look at their social media, but their product, abide by the previous generation's rule. Don't look at the artist, look at the art. And you will appreciate what they wrote, because Green Ronin had some amazing stuff, especially by Owen Casey Stevens. He was
as long as it's not jammed into the art, then I can do that. If it's when it's jammed into the art, also that
you're going to enjoy the art in this book, but you're going to see that there's a creature on the cover of it that I believe is a CR28 or CR32. I'm having a hard time with that, but remembering off the top of my head. But the Advanced Bestiary is one of the best books any DM can have, and it gives you an idea of how to ramp up encounters and your players. It's really good for if you have players like mine or standard Pathfinder players where they memorize everything, or worse, they've got Hero Lab on their tablet or PC, and they're going through like the bestiary on the internet, and they're going through like, oh, I just need to overcome 20 points of fire damage around, and I can hurt this thing. Ha ha ha. Well, the masks for Earthdawn or for templates for Pathfinder help modify this to where your players are going to be without a clue as a struggle.
I've always done that anyway, but if there's a way that makes that, easier for me. Now, I don't do Pathfinder, so I mean, the best it's going to be for me is just more ideas.
Sure.
But I've always done, especially my undead, but yeah, the cockatrice frog instead of chicken, whatever. Like I find all types of weird ways of changing monsters because of exactly what you said right there. Everybody knows what it is. I love messing with trolls. That's one of my favorite thing to change around. Like, oh no, my trolls don't just suffer. Matter of fact, my trolls are immune to acid and fire. Like, you got to find the other way of doing it. The one that really got obnoxious was the troll that actually took damage by wood, and they never. I didn't TPK him, but I definitely messed with that party, and they couldn't figure out that the arrows were doing damage, but nothing else was. So they just ended up planking it to death from afar, but they never picked up on the fact that wood was doing damage to it.
I have to remember that. For Pathfinder, that's what I would do. Just limit your sources. In a 3.0 game, if I was to design my own 3.0 game as I'm doing, I would design the game to where the history would dictate what races and then what classes would be available. And that history would also determine what options the players would have. Because as much as I like the idea of maybe a dwarven cleric from 3.0 or from, they were in second edition, first edition, but as much as I like that idea, I don't want to have to where you've got dwarven paladins, gnome sorcerers. You don't want to have all the communist things opened up to where things can wander through. And you don't want to have like elven swordmasters teaching non-elven types their secrets. You don't want to have that. I would just want to have it to where it respects its own canon, not like what D&D is now, where you have the Ironforged or the Warforged are in every campaign. You have Draconians every campaign. You have Spellfire is in Dragonlance. What? things like that. I don't want to see that.
Mm-mm.
And I surely don't want to see things like, here's the rules for time travel, so you can fuck up everything that's canon. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
And it's still called a troll because it's still a fucking troll. That's why. Just because it doesn't do what you want it to do doesn't make it not a troll. There you go. Smiley face, winky face, back at you.
I think that late second edition, with all of the options that they introduced right before they switched over, or as with all the kits, or was kits first or second?
Second edition.
Second, and then with the specialty priests, 50 million
my
of
God.
them.
You know what's weird about the specialty priests is I thought that they worked well in Forgotten Realms. Yeah, I just said that. But they did not work well in the priest handbook. Priest handbook was crap.
Yeah, the priest handbook was shit. But yet, if you bought the 3 soft covers from Forgotten Realms, you actually had some amazing specialty priests in those books. Those books were really good for your Forgotten Realms campaign.
Right. Well, I think what any of the D&D editions and Pathfinder suffer from is a glut of source material.
Yes.
And the way to handle that as a DM, and what they should really do, is stress, is put it in the framework of a world book, and leave it there instead of having 50 million races. And I like having a lot of classes, but that's still, even that lot of classes should be descriptive of the world, not of the multiverse.
See, and I'm torn on that, because part of me, I like the idea of I like the idea of a lot of classes also, but then it just starts getting weird. Like all the subclasses they have in 5th edition, how many types of rangers do you need? Stop it. That kind of nonsense. It just gets, it's a splat bloat to splat bloat. But I mean, of course, as a game system, they got to continue to make money. Unfortunately, but I don't know. That's why I go back to whatever you're saying before, where it's like, you only need 4 classes. And technically, one could argue, if you want to get really technical, but you don't need a thief, because anybody who clubs somebody over the head and takes their money is a thief, right? But still, because you can play the wizard however you want, you can play the warrior however you want, et cetera, et cetera. So, I'm torn on that, because the thing is as much as I love kits, and I definitely prefer kits to Lego characters out of 3E, the kits were broken. Some of them were so useless as to be comical, and some of them are so overpowered. You're like, did anybody sit down and play this? Oh, wait, the answer is no. But, and then, combined with all the spells and weirdness, I just, oof. But on your point, if you find like the 5 major races that fit your world, usually if you pick 1 race per attribute, you're good. You don't need anything else. Do you want to play the charismatic race? Do you want to play the dexterous race? Do you want to play, that's usually enough. And then your ecology, the ecology of your world, it doesn't make sense if you're having mountainous creatures running through the forest. You do have to pay a little bit of attention to that, in my opinion. Otherwise, if it's just random monster mash, like how is it that a lion and a displacer beast are living side by side with each other? Doesn't make any damn sense. They're both going to have their own fields. Now, of course, displacer beasts should be mountainous, but they're going to have their own fields of hunting. And chances are the displacer beast is probably just going to hunt the lion anyway, because they're assholes.
Yeah, they're going to eat him.
I didn't even realize that Colin McComb had to apologize for fucking Book of Elves, which I don't understand why you'd have to apologize for it. I thought the Book of Elves was well done. Book of Elves and Book of Dwarves for second ed.
Book of Elves?
Yeah. 958 sheds are, all these supplements are not representative of the game. Look at McComb, who apologized not once but twice for Book of Elves, even though he shouldn't have had to.
What was wrong with the Book of Elves? You talking for second edition? Book of Elves wasn't a bad book. Wasn't. I mean, I don't. But then again, I don't use those books as in like, oh, this is the lore and canon of everything. There are bits and pieces I take out of it that I think are lore and canon, for lack of a better word, like elves. Some of the way the elves act and why they act that way, because they live 1,000 years. People, oh my God, that happened. That was on our Discord the other day too. Somebody probably Umbry posted, every race in the game is stronger than a human. No, they are not. I'm not even going to argue that anymore. It's just absolutely not true. Well, because he gets a +1 in dexterity does not make him more powerful. I can become 20th level, punk.
Right.
You
Yeah,
can't.
elves and
I would argue though that most campaigns only last like 3 or 4 levels. So
Even still, I don't see that the mine didn't. Mine lasted a lot, but I don't see the elf as being more powerful. Oh no, it can see in the darkness. I've got a light spell. How's that working out for you? Whatever. I don't know. I think people just look at the numbers too much, and maybe put all the numbers down by the mathematical rule of everything. Yes, it's stronger, but I'd rather play a dwarf. I want the saving throws.
yeah, I'll go over the saving throws of the dwarf every day over the elf. The humans in every campaign that I've read are superior to all the other races because humans can go up to 20th level. The humans are the major dominant race, and the humans are the ones that make the decisions in all the overworld.
She was talking purely mechanically, to be fair, but
Okay. Umbri always looks at things from a mechanical standpoint.
yeah.
She is still a brand new player, in my opinion. She acts like a brand new player because she never talks about anything of narrative or of theming. She only goes for what's on the power band. That's it. And that's all she does, which there is a place for her at a table. Even my table welcomes those type of people.
Oh, she wouldn't be happy at my table because that word no would happen a lot. Nope.
You have to pay attention. Otherwise, you don't get to use that extra power that this race and class combo you have is going to do. I think she began with 4E. If it began with 4E, then that's Umbri's fault. But
I mean, I'm not even trying to blame. It might not have been her. I'm just saying that discussion was on our Discord. I didn't even jump into it because I was too busy writing my book. I haven't even been paying much attention to Discord. But I was just like that's just not true. I mean, I don't understand. If you think that simply having a +1 dexterity and being able to see in the darkness and having a +1 with a sword makes the character objectively more powerful, I will take my I'll take my level 20 any day over that, even if the campaign doesn't get there. I will take my ability to what else do humans get? Oh my god, it's been so long since I played.
Well, humans can be in class.
Well, that's true. The diversity. Yep. What's up?
You don't have to deal with like racism.
Yeah, but I'm trying to stay purely mechanical because that's how she looks at it. But I do agree with you. I mean, I play gnomes, so what does that say?
Yeah, because what exactly is a gnome anyway? Isn't that just a short dwarf?
Yes.
Pretty much.
We rub noses instead of, flex our muscles.
We have a schnoz contest every spring. Who has the nicest nose in the village?
Well, yeah, right. If the DM, you guys have probably heard that story a few times. You may have even run into that story a few times. That's
pun. The threat.
That's an absolute broken way, yeah. And it's funny, you can't do that because nope, never mind. Can I forget? Can demi-humans? God, it's been so long since I played. I should know this stuff. Can demi-humans specialize? Can a demi-human elf warrior specialize? That's a warrior thing. That's not a human thing, right?
A fighter thing.
It's a fighter thing.
Yeah, fighter thing.
If you can
Okay.
be a fighter, you can specialize no matter what.
Okay, gotcha.
Nobody else specializes. Fighters specialize.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I forget. I should probably. I'm worried about too many other games right now. Actually,
I was going to make a clip about how you don't.
Whatever.
Clip it.
You know what? You know what's great? Einstein said it best. Why memorize anything that can be written down? I'll just go back to this, and this will have the answer for me. I don't care. If it's good enough for Einstein, it's good enough for me.
You went purple.
I did go purple. I looked away for half a second. I come back.
You put your book in front of the camera, and it changed.
Do I have like an auto color on?
It might be.
Yes.
And you went back.
Let's try to.
It's more warm.
There we go. Oh my god, I might have like some sort of auto toning going on.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder what's causing that. Hold on, is that because I don't have any sort of background video like Logitech or whatever because I'm not using any sort of Logitech camera. I'll be back.
Shedzar says it's auto contrast.
Could be.
Well, first of all, it didn't have me at the right resolution. Now you should see me in better glory. Yeah, there's nothing in.
You can see that line across your forehead.
Asshole. That's interesting. I wonder where that's what's causing that. Okay, well, that's good to know. I'll check my camera. I wonder if it's a camera specifically after my move from Germany.
Could be.
That's not contrast. That's actually toning. But yeah,
you have to reset it to factory if that's something.
Or just turn that nonsense off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. It could be the white balance too. Yeah, there you go.
There's a lot of white there to balance too.
Ah, racist.
Oh.
Not a weirdest we know. He's talking about this line. I got this line. I was noticing in my car today. I got to use some sort of forehead lotion. My wife's gonna be like, I bought you that stuff and you just don't use it. I'm like, yeah, it's because men don't use that kind of crap. That's racist.
I'm gonna have to watch.
What are we talking about anymore? This is turning into one of my streams. What the hell?
Yeah, we're rambling. I'm rambling because I'm getting really tired.
Okay.
And I'm getting really rambly. Well, I will have to say, for a dry run of the biggest geekest tech empire, the only one that, what, you went purple again.
I'm just sitting here. Stop it.
Now hold on to your seat if you go plaid.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. There's a good fantasy movie for you.
That's a great movie. One of his great ones. Anyway, the only one I've seen the spinner on is me. So at least I was worried since I was hosting it that maybe everybody would freeze. But I guess since we're all independently connected to the server, only those who have issues like me, I have issues for some reason. And it probably is my ISP. My wife, we have all kinds of connectivity issues here at the house. So, and there I went and froze again. So, I'm going to have to be talking to my ISP. I might have to switch. It's hard though. Usually you don't have more than one for a geographical area.
I have 3 in my area. Well, 4 technically, but there's only one that's any good. So I have to use it. I would check into a few things first before you do that, because like I said, it could be a latency issue. It could be, are you running a VPN at all?
I'm not. My wife is on her phone, but I did have one on, but it really slowed everything down. So
yeah. I don't use a VPN when I stream. I use it when I'm doing my own stuff, but I don't use it when I stream. Trying to think. Yeah, I would know some things to test. Yeah. But before you just blame the ISP, because sometimes there could be some other stuff involved. Have you done like a speedtest.net?
Yes, I have, and it works fine.
Okay. What does it say for latency though?
The latency wasn't listed that I remember.
Okay.
I'll do it again and see if I just missed the
because obviously you have decent throughput, because when you are streaming, you're streaming just fine.
Yes.
So there might just be a latency where it's got a buffer. Like what would cause it to buffer? I don't know. I'm going to try something. I'm going to put something blue in front of it. Nope. Well, that's the rangefinder. That should have actually changed my focus. That's odd.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. I come in whatever color I come in. I'm not racist. I'm all colors.
Hey, this is a clean channel. Stop talking about sex.
Wow. Took me a second to figure that one out. Good job.
It's a dad joke.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. Soap. Specs. What are you holding up there, Bruce?
A 10-ounce bar of soap from Duke Cannon.
Oh, Duke Cannon. That's what that reference came from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that anything like those guys that are advertising on TV that are really funny? What's the name of that? I can't remember.
The only thing that's like this is like Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch. That's what I was thinking of.
Dr. Squatch doesn't have the lather ability that this does. This will lather up better for you. I get 3 to 4 weeks of soap out of this, and it costs about $6 to $8.
If you're not using lava, you're not using soap.
I've got a better soap than lava, actually. They have one with pumice in it, and it's glorious. I keep one of these in my truck at work at all times whenever I have a shit spill.
I wish I could remember the name of it, but my grandfather had this bucket of goop, and I'm sure he got it from where he worked as an auto mechanic, but we always called it the pink stuff because I don't know what the hell it was, but it was like this just slime. And I tell you what, though, you put that slime on your hands, you rub it around, it smelled like soap, it looked like soap, but your hands would come out crystal clear, like, bing, like, what the hell is this? We just called it goop. I'm sure, if he was still alive, I could ask him, but, that posed a little problem.
Stuff. I don't remember the name of it, though.
Gunsmoke. Yeah, I had that soap. I gave it to a friend of mine. The pink goop, it's still in production. We get that in the oil field.
Yeah, and that's how my grandfather used it for mechanics to get the grease off his hands and so forth. Is it called goop? Maybe that's why we called it. Okay, but that stuff, I'm telling you, that cleaned everything. You have paint on your hands, it's gone. You got a bug stain on your hand, it's gone. You're playing in the dirt, gone. It didn't matter what the hell it was. That cleaned off everything.
Irish color on that one.
What's that?
You came out Irish color on that one. After you rinse it off.
Hold on, let me back up. Maybe that changes the color again.
Well, you go pale a little bit when you back up, but that's probably just the lighting. You're not shadowed that as much back. When you're closer, you have more shadow, so you look more purple. I
blame my computer. I'm gonna actually check my my camera to see if it's got a setting like that on. But other than that, I think my computer's done. My computer is 7 years old, with the exception of changing a graphics card like 4 years ago. Computer has not been updated at all. Still runs solidly, overclocked to hell. Like it's a 3.0 processor. I've got overclocked to 4.2, and it's still running wonderfully. I haven't changed memory, haven't changed motherboard, haven't changed crap.
What's the highest intensity stuff you do on it?
Photoshop and video editing.
Okay. Right. So that's cool. You probably don't need top of the line unless you're doing some really
the video editing. The video editing. Yeah.
But are you rendering like movies, like animated movie type stuff?
No. I'm not doing anything like Dreamweaver or not Dreamweaver. Oh my God, should I used to use? I can't think of it now. Whatever. No, I'm not doing that. I've occasionally used Blender, but that's not.
So rendering YouTube top level stuff.
I mean, it still takes a lot of processing power, but
not bad.
This is going to kill me.
Next week, I was thinking maybe we could. I know we probably won't have Joe or Randy available because it's going to be on Tuesday. But I was thinking maybe we could talk about gods in campaign worlds for Gatekeepers and how to RP and how to properly integrate the gods with a campaign.
I'm a bad person for that one because I don't even like the concept of gods walking the planet.
I didn't say walking the planet.
No. But I mean, like you never meet God. I'm going to be boring. Let's just put it that way. I'll be there because I think it's a fun subject. But you never meet the gods in my world. If you do, you're dead. That's the only way.
It melts your face off, dude.
Yeah, I didn't mean Dreamweaver. I was actually thinking more like Lightwave. But there's another one I used to use. Not 3D Studio Max. It's the same one that Lucas used for Star Wars movies, and I can't remember the damn name. It's really popular. It's incredibly popular, and I can't think of the name of it.
Something Effects?
Well, no, I wish I would have learned After Effects. I'm too lazy to learn it now. Everybody's like, there's YouTube videos on, just learn it. Like, yeah, but then I have to buy After Effects, and my Adobe, it'll go from like $100. Maya, yes, Maya. There you go. Thank you. I actually had a copy of Maya for a while, but yeah, that would make my Adobe bill go from like what is it, $100 a year to like $500 a year just for one program. Like no. So
unless you're making money with it,
right? I'm happy with Photoshop. And I don't know if you guys know, but like for my video editing, I don't use anything really professional. I use Premiere Elements. I've used Premiere Elements since like version 10, and it's on like 20 or something now. So I've been using Premiere Elements forever.
I use Shotcut. It's free.
Yeah. I was trained in Premiere back in the late 90s. And while I don't know anything about Premiere Pro, because, obviously 20 some years later, that program is much more intense than not, anything I ever used.
A whole lot with it. I just put it in. I just render it essentially. I sometimes I have to snip out bits, but usually I just
I slide stuff in on the bottom, and I wouldn't call them animations, but Yeah, they're just little things.
Little transitions.
Little type. Well, the transition is great. You just click on it, like, which one do I want? Do I want that one? That one? The only thing I do kind of manually is like I'll set up. Let's say I want to say Legion of Myth and have it slide in on the bottom. I'll just give it its starting point, give it its ending point, and then
Right. I've seen how to do that in Shotcut. I just haven't really done it, except for putting in the very beginning thumbnail and the very end.
Yeah. But the only thing I would want to use something like After Effects for is like when you bring up the little subscribe thing, have it wiggle a little better.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, if I really want to take the time to do it, I could do that anyway without that. It's just, you know what? The information just needs to be there. It doesn't have to be. If I start making millions, fancy. Then I'll pay somebody else to do it.
Right. That's the way I feel about mine. I think considering our biggest geekus subscribership, which is very small.
Everybody subscribe to Biggest Geekus.
I mean, our audio podcast and the YouTube channel are probably on par as far as listenership and viewership, and it's not bad, but it's not paying any bills. That's for sure.
Oh, right. Well, what's funny is I just looked at my my estimated revenue for the last month, and it's twice as high as it normally is. CSS. I don't think Premiere Elements takes CSS animation. If that's the case, well, then I could do it because I do know HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript. I used to build web pages, so. I'm trying to waiting for the Legion of Myth money to settle a little bit because we had a couple of big donators last month, and I appreciate all of them. Thank you very much. Check us out on legionofmyth.tv. What's my YouTube channel? Or youtube.com/c/Legion of Myth. But I'd like to keep seeing this number every month, and have it go higher. Oh, wow.
Legion of Myth.
Completely forgot I made that. Cool. Forgot about those.
I don't have one for Bruce because I don't think Bruce has one, does he?
Anybody who gave me their information, I made one for.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't do editing or thumbnails or any of that. I get home, I turn on the camera. That's it.
I do just enough to show that I put some effort into it. That's it. And that's honestly when I watch other people, that's kind of what I look for too. It's like don't be all fancy. I don't care. You're not impressing me. Your whoosh is okay. That's great. But if just put a little bit of effort into it, just to be like, okay, this person likes what he does, or not. I don't even want to say it that way. Respects what he does. There you go, and call it a day. Live streaming is totally different animal though. Live streaming, that's about the viewer engagement.
Right.
And one of the things that God, I've really got to figure out for Legion of Myth is I got really upset yesterday. I don't know if anybody who was on our Discord. I was just supposed to OBS Studio to make the anime. Well, I don't use OBS. Screw that. I mean, I can. I don't. And I used to make transitions and all that type of nonsense in OBS. So yeah, I know how to do that. But I'm talking about specifically video editing in Premiere. Because you want to do the edit, you want to do all that the animation and so forth after the fact because you don't know where you're going to be cutting things out. I did a couple of my original videos in OBS, and I didn't do CSS, but I had some transitions and so forth. But the way I was talking, the way everything was going, I had to cut them out. So one transition ended halfway through. I was like, nope, can't do it that way anymore. But no, somebody showed a video of whatever. Man, another person out there with 50,000 views, and I'm watching the person like, how does this person have 50,000 views? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. And I'm not saying that I'm not doing all that work. Stop it. The thing is, I know what he's talking about. I'm just not going to do it. It's not going to happen. I've got easier ways that I can do it. I don't care. I don't need the wiggle that bad. Better yet, I could just do click After Effects and go click wiggle and tell it how fast to do it. So, I know all about it, Chadzar. You're not that fucking smart. God damn it.
One of these days,
just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand. Anyway, I'm looking. It's like, how the hell does this person have this many? I'm not saying, Legion of Myth is just so much better than everybody. It's not true, but so many of these are yeah, they work the algorithm. I get that, and to some degree, I've tried, but not to the full extent. But I also noticed that they all do the same thing, though. It's like, are they all just following each other? Like, why would I watch this person? You know, it's like right now the people are like, you need to get Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Why? I have Sword and Wizardry. I have Osric. I have Dungeons and Dragons of many different iterations. Hey, you know what? HTML and CSS, that's enough coding for me. I love it when programmers used to tell me when I'd make web pages, that's not programming. Oh, fuck off. Yes, it is. I mean, I have a whole shelf of things that pretty much mimic that. I don't need another one. So why would I watch yet another person that says the same thing as, what's the one everybody talks about? Ginny D. You know, why they buy? Well, no, but that's the thing is, I did that a couple of times too, and I'm still paying for it. The last time I did that was back in 2017. The worst incident of me doing that was in 2016. Sorry, 2016. The worst incident of me doing that was also in 2016. That doesn't work out the way you think it does. Because it might get you subscribers, but it doesn't get you views. It might get you views on one video, but then you're screwed after that because the algorithm is totally broken after that. Because the algorithm says, well, you have 50,000 subscribers, but you're only getting 500 views. So that math doesn't add up. So obviously everybody hates your crap. So not only are you in the 500 pile, you're down in like the 200 pile because the math isn't adding up for them. So, and that's one of the things that I had to learn the hard way. And I absolutely regret that decision. Even though I made it 5 years ago, 6 years, whatever, that is a decision I completely, it's only easier for one video. Maybe a playlist, because you can also do it on playlists. It's not going to help your channel.
What's BTS?
Is
that a channel?
No, I think that's I think it's views or I mean, might be as well. But I've actually, again, as somebody who's done it on both Facebook and YouTube, and I did it on YouTube multiple times, I can tell you that is not the way to go. The only reason I would say maybe is if you know you're going to get a following and you just want to hit that 1,000 number quickly. I can tell you it didn't work for us. For about 3 years, we made $3 a month. I'm dead serious. What is it?
It's a boy band.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the Chinese guys or Japanese, Orientals.
If you can pay for that, the amount of views that I can tell you that you don't get the income from it that you pay out to get those views. What was that? I donate to LOM because I enjoy content, even do not agree with 100% of it. Oh, agree with everything. But
if we don't want robots,
right? No, absolutely. In fact, Heathen, I don't know if you watched the last week's stream, but Heathen Dog surprised me with one of his takes, and we almost got into an argument. Over it because he got pedantic about a word because I get pedantic about words and so forth as well. But we don't always agree, and I'm actually happy that we disagreed on that one because sometimes it gets boring. It's like, okay, well, they're both saying the same thing again. That's great. Now but if we can do a little sparring, that's a good thing.
But
he's not as into
are different,
right? Exactly, but he's not as into it as I am. Like I don't mind the sparring. Like I don't want to have every episode. But I subscribe and donate because you're not willing to bend to the internet, Twitter, or the
Twitter's not even a fucking competitor anymore. Oh my god,
Twitter's not a real place.
Well,
no, can you put that one up that Crafty put? Because I think that's important for everybody. The truth one. Speak the truth as you see it. I think everybody does it. And that's what more people need to understand. That might be your truth. And yes, there is the truth. Look, somebody said it today. I think it was Nick or Kata was saying, well, there's two sides to every story. That's not true. There aren't two sides to every story. There are three sides to every story. Your side, his side, and the truth. The truth is somewhere in the middle. And the truth is flipping you off. Just remember that. Your side, his side, truth is in the middle.
With Twitter doing a recent new ruling where you can't have people's photos in there.
Whatever.
That's going to destroy memes. That's going to destroy any journalism. It's over. Goodbye, Twitter. They shot themselves in the foot.
Well, see, I do want money. I don't turn down free money.
Mm-mm.
At the same time, I'm not. Look, everybody knows this. I break Twitch's rules every single time I stream. Heathen Dog and them don't because I won't let them. But when I stream, because I own the company, every time I stream, I'm breaking Twitch's rule. They could take me off the partner program anytime they wanted. And I will continue to break that rule, and I don't care. I also don't pay attention when they say there are words you can't say. I say them all.
I don't even know what words I'm not supposed to say. So
pretty much, if it's a poo-poo word, you can't say it.
Poo.
Unless it's poo-poo against Christianity or white people, then you can say it.
Yeah. Like I can't insult J. Scott Garibay on this Twitch stream because I'm punching down or something like that.
You broke terms of service on the Sandbox stream? I don't know. No, that's not true. You can't say more on Twitch. Actually, Twitch has a bigger list of banned words and ideas and concepts than YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one area where Twitch is absolutely worse than YouTube. That's on anything to do with sex and porn. No, I mean, I'm not saying, but there are things that you can talk about. There's games you can stream on YouTube that you can't stream on Twitch at all, and it's a gaming site. But YouTube might act like it's worse, but Twitch actually comes after you harder, with the exception of music, though that's changing now too. Heathen Dog's, was it his stream that he did, his watch party stream? It's like pretty much just muted all the way through, like beginning to end. It's just muted, even though it's fair use.
I know somebody on YouTube, and he reads Jim Butcher's books on YouTube. And the way he gets around any kind of issues is by saying, okay, let's read along. It's a read along. And somehow that just, for the moment, for now.
I don't know, unless things have changed, Shads. Last time I saw what everybody goes after, YouTube just makes you demonetize it. Twitch says, get it off here. Yeah, okay, fair. If you're going to go that route with the algorithm, but I don't consider the algorithm, I consider the rules. And the rules are Twitch says you can't say crap about crap. YouTube at least lets you say it. I'll just say, you can say it, but we're taking your money from it.
So someone like me who has to get monetized or to actually not get frozen while I'm talking, then I can say what I want because they don't have any money to take away from me.
Well, you could get kicked off the platform. The thing is, for me, is it isn't the words that I do that's against the terms of service. It's something else that I do. I can tell you after the fact. I just want to say it publicly, even though everybody who uses Twitch knows what I do. But as far as that YouTube algorithm goes, it only monitors, according to somebody out there who's also tested this, it only actually monitors the first 2 hours. After the first 2 hours, you can say and do whatever you want, and it doesn't catch you unless somebody reports you.
Good to know. Good to know.
But I don't know why we got on that topic. I'm gonna
pop in on my gaming streams after about 3 or 4 hours we've been streaming because like you get the Japanese war scenes in our campaign. We go all out. Just kidding. Not really. You have to find out and check.
I mean, I don't know if there's truth behind that 2 hour thing, but a much larger streamer than me that I watched mentioned it. And it was an auto strike, and I got an email that I copyrighted myself. Wow, that's funny. But he was saying that he heard a rumor from like his partner manager, whatever the hell it's called for YouTube, and said that we don't really catch him after 2 hours. So he started doing some stream tests where it's like for the first 2 hours he was normal, and then after 2 hours he'd go balls well and say every word you're not allowed to say, show video clips that just absolutely would get you ended right then or there. Now, nothing. Huh. He said, but if he did it before the 2 hour mark, he was done. Like that video was not getting monetized at best, and usually straight, blocked.
Shadzar, you mean Princess Robot Bubblegum?
Oh, gross. Gross. Yeah. No, it's 2 hours. It's not 35 seconds. No, the only thing it checks for in the first 30 seconds, 35 seconds, whatever, is you have to validate whether you whether you're cursing in the first 30 seconds for that stupid monetization question, but it actually checks, if they're going to check it, it checks for the first 2 hours. Well, I don't know if that 2 hour limit is actually real, but through the testing, it seems like it is real. After 2 hours, you can pretty much do what you want unless somebody reports you. I can tell you that I've had videos of mine demonetized for crap that happened an hour in, and I've also had them demonetized like 3 days after the stupid thing went up. That annoys me. Because I always label my videos, even if I don't cuss, I always label them as light cussing. Always. Just in case there's a word I missed or whatever.
My
Because
entire channel is not for children, so.
Yeah, but when you monetize it, you have to select all these stupid check boxes of what's in there. Raise your fist to see what you want. Fair.
Yeah.
I never check the for kids. It is not for kids.
Oh no.
Even on the Biggest Geekest channel, because
don't do that.
Randy likes to cuss, and sometimes we have call-ins and they'll cuss, and I don't care. If you do, you do. That's fine. But we also, our podcast, though it's probably mostly family friendly, it's not designed.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
The whole in particular.
There you go. And that's how they handle it, is it's designed. If they say if it's for 13 or under, they're saying you're making it for 13-year-olds and under.
We are not.
You're right. Yeah, I want to mark. Can I have a rated R, or can I get a PG-13? I don't know what FNT is, but
Friday Night Tights.
Oh, okay.
I didn't catch that once.
They got struck because something happened with, I think, Alex Jones or something. But then, like last 6 weeks ago, I had that.
Why did Bloodworth have JSG on a stream? Because he could. Why not?
He wants the views. I'm not going to besmirch him for that.
There is no marking not for kids. There is no marking for that. You leave it unchecked is what you do. You leave the whole, because it says, is this for kids? And you're like, nope. No, it is not.
I even went a step further on my introduction video, and I say, if your kids are watching this, you failed as an adult. You failed as a parent.
Yeah. I haven't decided how I want to handle that with us, going forward, because people want me to rant. We get the most views on our rants, but I'm running out of things to rant about without just being overly repetitive. Repeating a couple times is one thing. It's the internet. You don't know what people have watched, but I don't really want to rant about the same crap every week.
Well, that's this week we talked about Superman.
Getting comments deleted off JSG videos is easy. All you have to do is comment, and he deletes it, unless you're kissing his little ass.
Right. But we talked about Superman because they're doing stuff with Superman, and we're both like, well, we're kind of really tired of talking about what the big comic book guys are doing with comics, because they keep doing it, and it's just same crap, different day. And so we've decided to instead, if we're going to talk about comics, we're going to talk about the new the Comics Gate folks.
Awesome.
And their comics. So once we can get a hold of some, then
would you like to see my Cyber Frog? And actually, I can
mail those to me.
True story. I can actually mail you Kyle Ritter's.
Oh.
Because so like 3 years ago, when Comics Gate is getting big, and Kyle Ritter did Starblades, we still had the Legion Myth weekly live stream, and on the weekly live stream every week there are comic book reviews. So what I was going to do is have them for a giveaway. So I'd keep one copy for myself and then give the rest away to viewers. Well, you know what? Over a year ago, Legion Myth weekly live stream ended, and I've got all these comic books of the same exact comic over and over again. So I could possibly send one to you review. But here's what I suggest to you: make a separate channel. Keep your comic book stuff on a different channel than your Biggest Geekest. Like, you could do Biggest Geekest Comics or Biggest Comicus, I don't know, but do a different channel, because that was another thing I learned the hard way. So if I were to start Legion of Myth over, that's what, Condor deletes them all the time. He actually has a video saying that if I don't like what you say and I can't get through to you, I'm just going to delete it because I don't want to hear it. Hey, that's him. If that's what he wants to do. Right. But anyway, that's one of the things that could fix Legion of Myth is if we only had one type of content on our channel, which is one of the things I am kind of leaning towards now. It's almost all tabletop games. But even then, I could have my opinions on another channel and our fundamentals on I'm just too lazy for that. Since I highlight everything from Twitch and just send it to YouTube anyway, I can only do it to one channel.
Oh,
Well, I started doing playlists, and I'll make a playlist for like not gaming commentary or political commentary. Then I have another playlist for our gaming streams in order. That way you can follow the story. And I'll have another playlist for like just various things. But that's how I'm doing mine. And
yeah, the playlist thing works. The problem is it still splits your viewership. At least according to YouTube, it splits your viewership.
I've got to say that since we started Gatekeepers, I've gone up like 70 subscribers, and my watch hours has rocketed up.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, if you have political commentary just in a playlist, just going to YouTube from Twitch. What? No, you think I'm going to have fuck that. I have it connected. I am not doing all of that. I'm not taking extra steps. Fuck that. It's not happening. It's like when people are like, but you could just download the video from YouTube and then upload it to. No, I have vid to MP3 that's just going to strip the audio out of it and I'm done. I'm like I'm doing things the easy way or I'm not doing it. It's that's how simple it is. Yes, I know I could do that. I'm not going to do that. So
The watch time hours I've got right now, my it says my typical range is 30 to 60. But right now I've got 222 watch hours, and it's going up.
Watch time is the number one thing that you want. That is the number one thing. Whether you put out 100 videos a day of 5 minutes, or you put out 5 videos a month of 4 hours, watch time is the number one most important deal.
I think Biggest Geekus YouTube has gone up at least 50, 60 since we hooked up. Since we started, associating with you fellows.
Well, what's funny is we had a hiatus there for a moment, or not even a hiatus. Like I had about a week and a half or so where my subscriber count fluctuated the same 5 up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't know if YouTube was having an issue or if I just wasn't gaining anything, but all of a sudden the last week I've gained 15, which for a week, that's actually pretty dang good. Usually I gain about 5-ish or so, unless we put out something really amazing, then we'll get like a jump of 30. But I've been looking at what people have been watching. No, like my comments on videos are going up at about the same pace. View time, like everything is going up. So I don't know what it is that we're doing differently, but the last month things have been doing pretty well for us.
I know.
No, watch time is not meaningless when you're trying to hit the algorithm and trying to get money. If you're not worried about monetization, it's meaningless. I just want the vanity royal. I get that. That's at 100, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you're talking average view duration and you're talking not average, sorry, the other impressions and so forth, your watch time is what. Sometimes they don't watch the channel for a period of time. I've heard people say that, and I think I've been. I think I got unsub, but I don't know how prevalent that really is. I sometimes think I believe it's happened. I just don't know if it's happened as prevalently as some people think it's happened. You know how people are, and I do the same thing. It's like, they screwed me over. Maybe I was never subscribed. I run into a situation now where Legion of Myth is subscribed a little bit differently than my personal account, and I forget if I watch something on my personal account or Legion of Myth account. Who's that? Oh, well, Bruce lost a subscriber.
Oh,
but that's good. I'm glad you guys are growing. I'm glad. I'm the type of person. I've had people tell me like, "Do you really want all these people? They're gonna start watching their content than yours." I'm like, well, if they make better content and people like them better, why not? I don't care. It's not gonna stop me from ranting. I'm on YouTube because I rant. I'm not on YouTube to rant.
People rarely jump ship. It takes a lot. I mean, it just the fact that even though with all the crap that YouTube pulls, and there are alternatives that don't pull that crap, the fact that people stay on YouTube anyway People are creatures of habit. So I'm not.
It's also the 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to do everything on Odyssey, until I can export my Twitch video directly to Odyssey, and as soon as they get the streaming stuff down, I could pop out the. I mean, there's so many things that Odyssey needs to improve upon. I would love to, but
you should be able to automatically export all your stuff from YouTube to Odyssey. You have enough subscribers and everything.
Sure, except for they don't take videos over 3 hours, or is it 2 hours, something like that.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So most of my
as far
streams
as automatically done.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know I do mine manually, and they.
Oh yeah, I'm lazy. I'm too lazy for that. Mm-hmm. Everything that I can automate is automated. Yeah, I mean that's why the what do you call those things? The podcasts don't get done because I have to manually do that. So and while to be fair, I literally just use vid to MP3. If you haven't used that, I love vid to MP3.
I don't need to do that because we do ours in Zoom and we get an audio file and a video file.
Yeah, I don't like the StreamYard's audio file or the StreamYard's. I don't know. I just didn't like it when I used it. But see, I don't have to upload anything because that export takes like 5 minutes, where my upload takes like 30. Again, now when Twitch went down, was it a couple of months ago, and I couldn't export for a little bit because they had that exploit? Oh, dude, I was crying. It's like, no, I don't want to download this stuff because first, oh, geez, this is bad. Because then I have to download it, then I have to actually go in and make sure that lip syncing always goes off when I download something from YouTube. Again, I don't need to do that. You keep saying this stuff like I should do. I am not making the process harder. I don't need Audacity. I use Audacity for my actual recordings. Don't need it.
That's what I use for the podcast.
Vid to MP3 strips it right from my YouTube video. Mm-hmm. It turns my YouTube video into an MP3 on my computer. I upload it. I'm done. I can do like 3 clicks, walk away, come back, and it's done. Upload it. While it's uploading, I fill in all the stupid description stuff like you would for YouTube in SoundCloud, and then it goes automated out to all my other
places. Yeah. The thing that I use Audacity for, since we actually Zoom, it's not an MP3, so that's one thing. The audio file is not an MP3; it's something else. I can't remember. But also, I like we have an intro music and an outro music, so I have to put that in after the fact. I don't do that live. So
okay.
So if you do all of your audio bits live, I can see why if it exports as an MP3, you wouldn't need to do anything else with it.
Yeah. Now, when I record videos, yes, then I use Audacity because I re-level out. So what I do is I actually strip out I do something to the voice to make it sound like a normal voice, but I actually, for my background music, I strip out the middle levels. I really tone down those middles, so it allows the music to be just a touch louder without screwing up the voice.
Right. Yeah. There's a setting in Audacity, the compressor.
Yeah, I read.
And then I found somebody said these are good settings, and I went with those, and they worked pretty good.
I played around. The biggest thing that I run into is when I have to cut out some ambient noise because my asshole neighbors are playing their thump 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 music too loud. Of course, that starts in the middle of my recording, or I forget to turn my computer off or some nonsense like that. And even though it's not loud, I still have to edit out the sound because my microphone is really good over at my other desk. When I cut that out, it makes my voice go all. Doesn't matter how much I try to correct it; just turns my voice into something really weird. But was it so Crafty wants rants about what says and how Max and Heathen do different? What?
Whoa.
I don't know. But I do know what Crafty's talking about with terms of having the multiple sound cards. That's how we used to, when I was in the Air Force, that's how we had to record stuff. It's just like, people are like, how easy it is to have a two video setup? No problem. I'm like, I would have to have another computer. No, you don't. You can just do it through a VM. I'm not running a VM on my personal computer. I will never, my personal computer is so minimalist. That's why it lasts 7 years. But I don't put crap. I will never have a VM on my personal computer. And I'm
a noob. What's a VM?
A virtual machine.
Okay.
It's basically like having two computers. So even if the processes are only running in the background, I do a lot with VMs with my job. Just I have to.
They take a lot of resources to run concurrent with whatever you're running. So I've not found them very useful for a home computer.
Right. I mean, for server stuff, yeah. But that's what I'd be doing in this case. If I wanted like multiple cameras and run it through a VM, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not building another computer for this. So if I make enough money, then I'll buy a new computer and have it built that way,
So. Yeah. As soon as the supply chain issues go back to normal, if they ever do.
What is the shortcut we use in order to see our computer specs? Because I forget what type of quad core I'm running, but I built a $3,000 gaming rig in 2015 with a 4 gigabyte graphics card in it.
I mean, for some of it, you can do DX diags. For some of it, I mean, I run CPU-Z, but I think you can just, it's funny, is on the Windows side of it, I don't know. Like, I think you can just type in system.
I use an app.
Okay.
A system. You just type in system, it'll tell you your system information.
Okay. Cool.
You may not get all the specs you're looking for, but you'll probably be able to find out what the name of the thing is.
The thing that killed me was the fucking RAM. I put in 32 gigs of RAM in it, and it was running a little bit hotter than what was being sold primarily at the time. And Jesus H, that was like $800 for that. I was paying more for the RAM than I was paying for the graphics card. And at the time, the graphics card was top of the line. It was a capture card that there wasn't many options for. It went through Asus, Republic of Gamers, and I'm still running that card right now. I'm still running that PC right now, and it's like a champ. It's 2015 was when we built it, and it's still going good.
Oh, when I tell you this, all the computer nerds out there are going to get really pissed off at me, and yet I don't care. So I've had my computer since beginning of 2015, I think, was when I had it built. I didn't actually build this one. I've changed the water in my water cooler one time. Oh my God, I'm sure and it was like 2 years ago.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
A year and a half ago or whatever. Still pretty clear. like some people are like, wait, your pump is still working? Yeah, my pump has worked just fine. I mean, and the thing is my pump actually has 2 pumps in it. So if one of them goes out, then I'll be fine. But yeah, I literally the only thing I've changed in this PC is the I've added a couple hard drives, but is the graphics card. I had an AMD water-cooled AMD graphics card, 900 something. I forget what it was. Pretty cool for its time, but that burned out on me. It was a stupid closed loop thing. Hey, computer developer or designers or whatever the hell you call yourselves. All black piping is stupid. Clear piping, so we know when the water needs to be changed. So you had all black piping, and I don't know. But yeah, water in a PC, ludicrous. Yeah, I know. It's. I just dump it in there every day. Just dump it in the PC. It keeps it cold.
We'll just water it. It's okay.
It steams.
There's a fluid you can just dunk your whole PC in. It's not water, obviously.
Oh, I saw somebody use vegetable oil and put the entire computer in. I think it was vegetable oil, and just it ran. It's the whole computer is dipped in it. The fan moved really slowly because vegetable oil has a pretty decent heat dissipation, so it doesn't have to go fast. It's like, what the hell? I can never think like that. I don't even want to.
Vegetable oil. It was more industrial grade something or other. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, bathtub. I should have thought about my cat's always in the bathtub to keep cool. So, okay, I could do that.
Buy this PC cooled bathwater from Max for only $30.
No, I got to make it special. I'll fart in it too.
Get a little flecks of poo.
Oh God. Okay, now I'm gonna ambiotic food for a PC. Yeah, but so I had to get rid of that graphics card, and now I have a 1070 in mine. I don't even think it's a Ti. I think it's just regular 1070. I've wanted to upgrade it, but right at the point I wanted to upgrade is when you couldn't buy video cards anymore. So, and at this point, I've got to replace everything. Like I don't think a video card. I don't think my motherboard would be even though I have a pretty powerful MSI. Was it X99 Alpha Gaming 7?
That's good.
It's pretty old.
Well, I got to say this much. The new Quake would not tax that computer very much.
Oh, a lot of things don't tax it.
Well, no, they redid Quake for 4K resolutions, and then they updated everything. They put 2 new DLCs on there, and it is a wonderful retro game that you can go back in time with. 1996.
I liked Hexen better than Quake.
Okay, if you like Hexen better than Quake, then why don't you use the Doomsday mod?
I mean, I don't play any of them now, but actually, Quake 1 and 2 I liked. It was when Quake 3 came out and you could shoot rockets at your feet and you played an arena. I was like, oh, I'm out. Seriously, 45 minutes after I installed that game, we were all excited about it. Like, yeah, we got Quake. We're going to do Quake Arena, blah, blah, blah. 45 minutes after it's installed, I had it uninstalled and threw it up. I actually threw it in the trash.
I actually like just regular vanilla Quake 1 and just download deathmatch maps and just go frag on that. That's my jam. That's my jam right there.
God, I wish I had time for anything. That's one of the things I'm thinking about for the rest of this week. Maybe I'll pick up a computer game I haven't played in a while. But all my computer games are like 4X games, so they take like 3 weeks to play. I don't know what I'm going to do.
With that.
Actually, no, I know what I'm going to do because Joe's going to get mad if I don't upload some freaking audio.
Yeah, he's going to box you.
So I'm all caught up.
Yeah, and I actually had been meaning to do it. I completely forgot. I'm not lying, man. I completely forgot about it. I was so focused on this writing. And to be fair, once you guys go through it and start to talk about the corrections and so forth you'd like to see in there, I will. I'm going to get back into that. But you can ask my wife. I would get up in the morning. I showered like once every 3 days if I had to stream. Like I was getting up, I was writing. I would stand up just to make sure my blood was still flowing. I wasn't eating. I was just like, even though I wasn't exercising either. No, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't checking my email. I was just typing. And the thing is because I'm through the hard part. Once you guys, so skills, it's the same problem. I think Bruce, I was talking to you about it the other day. The spells, like the cleric spells and the wizard spells, like it just drove me away from typing anymore. I had to go through the entire list of Palladium skills, rewrite every single one of them. Now I'm not talking from every book ever made, but rewrite all of them so it didn't copy what Palladium said. Also, Palladium was wrong in a lot of the skills. So actually make them do something, we'll just say a little bit more appropriate. And I'm sure that, when a couple of people look at it and be like, you've missed a skill or that skill is redundant with another one, so I'm going to have to fix all that. But like everything to do with science, I had to relook like, what does this actually do? And I had to actually copy it, usually from Wikipedia's or whatever, get them in there. So anyway, that's boring as shit. So it's like, it's only 70 some pages. It was 90 yesterday, but I trimmed some out. It's only 70 some pages. And if I was just typing, I could do 70 some pages in a day or two. But when you're doing all that extra nonsense with it, that took like 3 weeks. God. So yeah, I need a couple of days off. Do things like I didn't even get a haircut. You can't really see because I've got it gelled up. But dude, I have such 70s wings. I got kind of Joe wings going on there, which that isn't my thing. I haven't gone to get a haircut.
Haircut really bad.
I went out today for the first time and saw the sun, and that was because I had to cash some checks that were about to expire.
Oh.
And then schedule my truck for an oil change. But my point being is like, seriously, that's all I've been focused on. So if anybody's like, well, you had time for this, you had time for that. I didn't. I'm on leave, and this leave was supposed to be about building Legion of Myth, and all I've been doing is typing a book.
I shave my head about once every 2 or 3 days, and that's all the personal upkeep that I need. That and my Duke Cannon.
So I like my hair.
Yeah, my hair is receding. So what's going to end up happening is this stuff back here is going to get long. I'll be bald up here, and all I'll have is this,
Are you going to do the Tim Pool beanie thing so everybody thinks you've got like this full luxurious mane hair?
No. But
you really don't?
If I end up having the landing strip, I will shave my head. My wife doesn't like the idea, but she understands.
Well, I threatened my wife because when I was a youngster, yeah, I did the mullet thing, but I had long hair, and I was saying, you know what, because usually when I go get a haircut, just at somewhere new, they'll be like, oh, so how old are you? I'll be 48. They're like, 40, and your hair is still this thick? Like they want to trim the shit out of it, like they do those trimming shears. I'm like, get that thing out of here. I like my thick hair. It's like it's the one thing I've got going for me. Everybody else is all balding and whatnot.
You don't let them do that to you, dude.
Yeah, usually by the time I notice, I'm hearing that snip, 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 snip. Ah, son of a bitch. But no, I was threatening to grow it long, and my wife's like, no, you're not growing it long. Oh.
Tell her, honey, remember Bud Bundy on Married with Children? He had a mullet.
No, I wouldn't go the mullet this time. I would actually just grow it long. But no, she's told me no on that one, and I have conceded that fight. That is not worth.
She is correct.
I could do the Joe Dirt mullet.
I would love to see him in a Joe Dirt mullet.
I've got a picture of me when I was like 16, 17. Well, actually, before I joined the Air Force, because I got it cut the week before I joined the Air Force. Man, when I was in the Air Force and I could feel the wind on my neck, I was like, oh my God. You know what I'm talking about, basic training when they do like, yeah, I had just gotten rid of it then. Scott Pilgrim meets Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah, the thing is, when they go here, yeah, see, yeah, it's easy.
Short.
The only thing I don't like, again, you can't really see it because one, the headsets are pushing it down, but I have gel on, is I can't stand hair on my ears. So I think it's because I was in the military for so long. And the hair on my neck, like the other day, I actually took my razor. Yeah, I can't stand that. My wife actually went today and kind of trimmed the back. I was going to get a haircut today, but traffic wouldn't let me in. I figured it was a sign from God. So I was like, I'll just drive home. But yeah, anyway. What are we talking about? Why am I talking about this stuff? This is weird.
Because we're rambling.
Not talking about wizards anymore.
Yes. Well, we might have to do a Wizards Part 2 when I'm better prepared. And I'm going to be turning into a pumpkin here soon. So we probably need to get our last words in and call it a night. I know it's just a little short, because it's definitely not going to be a 4-hour one.
No. The Gatekeepers is only supposed to be 2 hours.
Yep.
Oh, well, we're overtime then.
Yeah. We're supposed to try to keep it to 2 hours for Gatekeepers, and we're way overtime.
We failed.
Yeah, it's my personal streams that are like 7.5 hours on Thanksgiving.
I missed that one. I still watched it afterwards, but I missed that live.
Shadzar wants to hear why Wizards hated TSR and how. I don't know. I keep hearing that not TSR. I keep hearing Gygax hated Wizards. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. But
I've heard it.
Yeah, I've heard it too.
I don't think there's any truth to it because the Wizards have all the power. After the middle to high levels, why would you play a fighter? Why would you play a thief? You can do all of those things as a wizard.
Well, also remember that they weren't allowed to actually playtest the game while they were making it for second edition.
You come to this office, you type for this game, but you can't play this game on these grounds.
Gygax was pissed at Drawmage. Drawmage Instant Summits.
I don't know who Drawmage is.
Well, I'm sure it's probably Arneson's character or something. I don't know.
Yeah. He's one of the named wizards in the Player's Handbook.
Yes.
All right. Well, only words of wisdom I'm going to give is I'm going to say, hey, if you're watching this and you're still watching this, first of all, good on you. Come by the Legion of Myth channel at legionmyth.tv or YouTube. You can just search for Legion of Myth or do /Legion of Myth, wherever you are, and check us out. And that's all I've got. I'm just going to do that little splat right there, and I'm done.
If you like what you see here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm sure Biggest Geekus would like it if you would become a follower of theirs on Twitch and give them a subscribe on YouTube, because they really could use the views and subscriptions and for the watch hours. If you like,
I didn't get any the giveaway. I think they're a bunch of liars.
I've got a set of hands that paints miniatures a lot. But if you like what you see with my channel, I'm at youtube.com/Bruce Lombardo75, and you will find that you have years and years to catch up on, because I have nothing to talk about but everything. So thank you so much for bringing us on here, Joe.
You're very welcome.
Bruce Lombardo from Dick's Division.
Dick's Division. A division of dicks, perhaps.
Actually,
anyway, thanks for coming on and helping me out. This was my first live stream ever. Hopefully it didn't suck too bad for you guys out there who are watching. Watching me grasp at straws at times. It's only a pair of hands like
One of my friends streams Machine 90, and he draws big, thick women. Not big, but thick women. Women that are thick in the right places. And you only see his hands. You never see anything else.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we are going to be signing off. And thanks for stopping by, everybody who did. Please give everybody here, all three of us, some likes and subscribes wherever you find us on the interwebs. Legion of Myth.
Thank you, everyone.
Bruce of Dick's Division. Biggest Geekus. Good night.